Alright, been meaning to do this segment for a decent amount of time, but Birdman responded to Asmongold's analysis of his reaction to Asmongold's shit take. It's a whole fucking segment of stuff. I'm gonna leave all of the coverage on this debacle in the description below. I have 2 separate videos on it, so if you guys want to catch up on the whole Birdman Asmongold slop, the links to those will be in the description below. But for those of you who are actually employed and don't have time for that, I will try to explain it very briefly for you. Basically, Asmongold put out a tweet saying that black people benefit from systemic racism, or systematic racism, as Asmongold worded it, which is a very, very silly thing to tweet. Honestly, it's just kind of stupid. Then Birdman responded to it, and then Asmongold reacted to it, and it was very stupid and silly, and I guess Birdman responded to Asmongold's response to Birdman. We really are gonna slop this shit up with this reactception today.
Our pal Asmongrift has responded to yours truly for the second time.
Oh yeah, also for transparency, I'm on 1.25 times speed because this is a very long reaction, so I am going to watch this on a higher speed.
And it's as dumb as the first time.
And unlike Asmongold, I'm not going to cower out of reacting out of it.
Only it's a fair bit longer than the previous response, but not by that much. I mean, his first response was about 40 minutes, and this one is just under an hour. And I bring up the length of his response for 2 reasons. The first is to prepare you for the length of this video. I don't enjoy making long videos because the edit you see is significantly shorter than the time it took for me to edit. This is time and energy I can be spending on other non-YouTube parts of my life, but I do so because, if nothing else, I am thorough. The second reason is because Asmongold is a liar and a hypocrite.
Oh yeah, Asmongold is like incredibly disingenuous when it comes to his analysis. There's just so many parts. Again, if you guys want to watch my reaction and my analysis to Asmongold's reaction, have a whole video on it. You guys can react to it.
As you will soon see, his excuse for not responding to my 1-hour video is that it's too long and his audience will zone out.
Too long, can you feel it? Too long, can you feel it? Too long. Sorry. I love Daft Punk, guys.
But hilariously, his response to me is literally 1 hour long. Mind you, my video was 16 minutes. His response was over 3.5 times longer than my video.
Oh yeah, and he also complained, yeah guys, the video's too long. I can't react to a video that's too fucking long. Meanwhile, his video is like basically the same length that he reacted to. Also, Asmongold has no problem reacting to long videos. Like, we've seen him react to long videos on his channel before. He only has a problem with it when it's a video that disagrees with his grift.
But he lies and says his audience doesn't want to watch a response to a 1 hour long video.
Well, that's also a self-report to Asmongold, if anything. You're basically saying that you're not interesting enough to add commentary to a video for over an hour. Like, if your audience is not going to be interested, wouldn't that be more of a you problem than the video that you're watching in that problem?
Is that why you made a 1 hour long video, Zach? No, you see, what happened is that Asmongold is a coward. He pre-watches videos off stream, decides if that video is too difficult for him to respond to, and then he mimes on stream like he...
I don't necessarily have a problem if people pre-watch videos. I do, however, have a problem if people pre-watch videos and then pretend and be performative as if it's their first time reacting to it. That's the part that kind of irks me more. I try to be as transparent when I can when I've already reacted to stuff, because I have, like, in the past I have pre-watched stuff before, but that's, like, a lot of the times it boils down to the fact that I am a regular to Papa Gut stream, and sometimes we react to the same videos, and so, like, I can't really help it in that regard. But, like, Asmongold pre-watches stuff and then pretends like he's watching it for the first time. It's super performative.
Is watching a video for the first time. The length of the thing he's responding to is completely irrelevant. This son of a bitch streams every day from 6 to 8 hours at a time. My video would have been 1/8 of the length of his entire stream. So in reality, he realized he couldn't refute the things I said in that video, and he did what all cowards do: duck the smoke and wait for the heat to die down. So in all likelihood, this is exactly what he's going to do to this video, because I'm about to body bag this coward for 100 minutes straight. Let's get on with it.
All right. I like the confidence, Birdman.
Exposing the grift, Asmongold doesn't understand DEI and affirmative action.
It's very interesting. Asmongold is so anti-DEI, and he, fucking, like, the only person that really, like, if anyone would benefit off DEI, it's Asmongold. Like, Asmongold grew up poor, and, like, his family, like, took advantage of the welfare system. If anyone should understand DEI policies, it's Asmongold, or at least be sympathetic to it. But Asmongold has gone so fucking Twitter brain that he just, I guess, doesn't care about that anymore.
Uh-oh. This will be good. Round 2? Yes. Well, it's a shorter video.
It's actually round 3. You were knocked down in round 2 and got saved by the bell, remember? But did you all hear what he just said?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I guess I didn't think that was worth bringing up, but, like, yeah, that's, fair enough.
It's a shorter video? Shorter than what video, Zach? Because my first video was less than 10 minutes, and the one you're responding to is just under 17. You see, he just let slip that he watched my hour-long video, proving that he purposefully avoided responding to it. Because he's a coward, and realized he couldn't show his audience me dismantling his arguments. Arguments so paper-thin and surface-level, they could be used for veneers. Veneers he clearly needs.
Dude, I've yet to see, like, an Asmongold fan actually engage in an argument in good faith. Like, genuinely, like, all Asmongold, a lot of times when I criticize Asmongold, it tends to attract a lot of his fans, and they dislike bomb the video, and then they leave a bunch of nasty comments calling me slurs and stuff, which is, like, whatever. I mean, that's all fine and good. If that's how you choose to engage with content, like, fine, you do you. I'll make fun of you for it, but, like, that's your choice. As a human being, in theory, you should have autonomy over yourselves, but you're part of MAGA, so you most likely need to be in a group home. Regardless, like, they put comments down. They don't actually give any real criticisms on anything. They don't criticize any of the points you make. They don't criticize any... They don't have any, like, real criticisms of anything. Like, you know, you can refute all of Asmongold's arguments, and you can try to be, like, super fact-based, and none of Asmongold's fans will care, because a lot of Asmongold has... a lot of his community has a lot of overlap with MAGA, and MAGA is super feelings-based. Like, you know... The right talks about facts don't care about your feelings, but if you look at Asmongold's audience and MAGA, and Asmongold is MAGA, like, they all are super feelings-based.
Lord of the Fleas has blessed us with yet another shit take on Twitter, this time alleging that black people benefit from systematic racism.
Correct.
We're going to debunk this nonsensical claim.
Thank God.
And this time, I'll try to be as brief as I can for old double-digit IQ here. Because my last video was too long for him.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit around and react to a fucking video that's an hour and a half long.
Why not? It's not like you have anything better to do. You just sit on fucking Twitter all day. Like, if anything, Birdman's doing a favor for you, and he's giving you content to react to.
It's too long. Yeah, it is. It's too long.
It's too long, but, like, also he reacted to, like, a Tyler Oliveira video, and that video was, like, basically the same length as Birdman's video, if not longer. And, like, the only reason Asmongold reacted to that Tyler Oliveira video is because he agreed with everything that Tyler Oliveira was saying.
No, that's your excuse, Zach. That's why I said that. But it's pretty funny how you act like you have anything better to do with your pathetic life. All you do is sit in that chair reacting to shit on the internet for 6 to 8 hours every single day. You literally sat here responding to my 16-minute video for an hour. It literally took you getting banned on Twitch for you to go to the dentist and get those circa 1923 pennies you call teeth looked at for the first time in 20 years.
Bro, yeah, like, Asmongold, like, I'm pretty sure I've seen a clip of Asmongold admitting that he only brushes his teeth, like, 9 times a year. Like, he's, like, actually a disgusting slob of a human being.
You have
like, this is the same guy that says that illegal immigrants don't take care of themselves, and that illegal immigrants are here to fucking destroy us and eat our pets and stuff, and that they're not as clean as we are, and that Somalian people are disgusting and have an inherently lower IQ. This is the stuff Asmongold says, but, like, he thinks that he's superior to Somalian people when the essence of his culture is just living in filth and letting his teeth rot out of his skull.
Really nothing better to do. You just don't have the balls to admit when you've been had. And friend, you were had. So I'll have to re-explain the start-stop buttons for you, Zach, because you were too pussy to respond to my previous video, where I cooked your monkey ass for over an hour. You know, the one where your excuse for ducking me was, an hour is too long for me to grift. That's like...
Yeah, it is, because the viewers are going to get bored. It takes too long.
Dude, it's so funny. He doesn't even contest the grift part. Like, it's just so funny. Every time Asmongold gets a grifting allegation, he just never even contests it. He's like, oh yeah, that's true. And also, it's too long. Yeah, the viewers are gonna get bored. Be more entertaining then. I don't know what to tell you. If your viewers are not entertained at the reaction that you're doing, be more fucking entertaining. What do you want me to tell you?
Like, we've got other things we need to go through and talk about. I don't have all day to talk about one thing.
Yes, you do. Yes, you fucking do. You sit in your room all day. You have all day to talk about it. Be quiet.
I love the Freudian slip here, instantly demonstrating why having low impulse control and pausing before you fully heard a point being made is a bad thing. I said an hour is too long to grift, He immediately pauses and says, "Yeah, an hour is too long for me to grift."
Yeah, it is.
Isn't it strange how you respond to the video where I barely talk about you at all, where you lied and claimed I called you racist the whole video?
That's sad. Wow, mic drops, I know. So basically, this guy spent his entire video calling me racist.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
I will say, again, I've said this in every reaction that I've done to the Birdman Asmongold saga. Like, the one thing that I do disagree with Birdman on, and I love Birdman. Birdman is very clearly a smart person. He's very educated. He does his research. He backs up his claims. Generally speaking, Birdman puts out a lot of good, incredible stuff. This one point about Birdman was the one thing I disagreed with him. They kind of like play semantics about whether or not what Asmongold was saying was racist or whether or not Asmongold is a racist person. It kind of like gets into like this weird semantics argument that I really don't think is that necessary, honestly. Like we all know Asmongold is a racist person, all right? We'll just leave it at that. I don't know why we had to like bother saying that too much. I don't know. I mean, like, I get Birdman's point, kind of, but it's like, I just didn't think Birdman needed to spend so much time and energy on this point, necessarily. Even so, Asmongold still finds a way to be disingenuous about it. It's actually kind of impressive.
You sure about that?
Yeah. Let's ask the AI. Does the Birdman specifically call Asmongold a racist in this video? Explicitly label Asmongold a racist, but he does argue that the claim Asmongold made on social media is racist.
Bam. Flashbanged, stunned into silence. This is precisely what he was trying to avoid by not responding to the other video, as it's full of moments just like that. Instant debunks to the bullshit this moron says. He lied, and we have proof that he lied. These are the things he doesn't want his audience to see, so he comes up with the too long excuse while responding to a 16-minute video for an hour.
It's also possible Asmongold is just a lazy slob and he just didn't see it as well. That's also totally possible. And to be honest, I feel like I totally believe the latter half, that he's probably just so fucking lazy and he assigned a narrative that like Birdman was like calling him racist or whatever, and he just like lazily said that. Like, again, either way, it really doesn't, at this point, honestly, just doesn't matter that much, but still.
I'm not even going to get into him being unable to read.
Does the Birdman specifically
I just can't read.
Alright, whatever. Asmongold fucking... He mispronounced something. Whatever. I do it too. Whatever. It's like, whatever. Listen, like, Birdman's kind of petty, but at this point, Asmongold is not a good person, so I can kind of excuse Birdman being a little bit petty here.
So, was it, you only said your claims are racist? Is this the other video? Let me go back and see it. I haven't seen it at all. Let me go pull this up. Right, okay, so there you go. Your own AI evaluation says this.
This moment was extremely damning for Asmongold. First, he proves in real time that his comprehension skills are extremely limited. He saw YouTube's AI clearly state, no, the Birdman does not explicitly label Asmongold a racist in this video.
You know what the Birdman should do? Genuinely, I think Birdman should make his next Exposing the Grift on Shoe on Head. Absolutely. Shoe on Head should be like the next target audience for this video. Like, genuinely speaking, the last Shoe on Head video I reacted to, like, I'm not even kidding, that last Shoe on Head video I reacted to pissed me off so fucking much. It was like such a disingenuous video. It pissed me off so fucking badly that I haven't reacted to Shoe on Head since. Like, it actually, like, I'm not even kidding. That her video triggered me that much. Now, would I react to Shoe on Head in the future at some point? Yeah. I mean, I know that she had like beef with Hassan. Although, to be honest, I don't really care about Hassan at this point. I'm at a point now where I do not care about anything Hassan says or does anymore. Like, in comparison to the right-wing grifters, like, Hassan is not even that bad. Hassan's not a good person at all by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not saying that he is good and that you should defend him. Like, he obviously is, like, a terrorist sympathizer. And so, like, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, Hassan great and everything. But, like, in comparison to, like, Tectone, who's a rapist, Nuxtaku, threat to children, Leaflet, threat to children, Kirsch defends Lolicon, Rev says Desu, Lolicon enthusiast, tons of MAGA defending Trump for being a pedophile. Like, again, like, MAGA is, like, the pro-pedophile rapist group, basically. So, like, we're at a point now where one side is objectively just worse than the other.
But instead argues the claim he made on social media was a racist claim. That's like almost word for word what I said in that first video. So this brings us back to Zach's tweet. Yes, This claim is racist because it was made by a racist whose entire purpose was to denigrate an entire continent to uphold white supremacist narratives.
Well, also just saying just because someone has like a darker skin color than someone, that means they have a lower IQ than someone. That is a racist thing to say. That is like basically saying that like you are superior to another race. Basically, that is what Asmongold communicates when he says that Somalian people have a lower IQ. That's what he is saying. It's disgusting. Like, Asmongold is a disgusting, slobby person. And he, again, like, you have to, like, just sit here and, like, be glad that people like Asmongold are going to die alone. Like, you have to sit and, like, be like, yeah, this guy's probably not going to live past the age of 45 because how he just doesn't take care of his health and how he just totally fucking, and he's also going to die alone as well.
Narratives like eugenics. So you see, the point I'd made was a direct refutation of the claim that Zach made. He'd made a tweet defending Donald Trump's claim that Somalis were low IQ, and my response was an entire video proving that Trump's claim was a racist claim by going into the history of that claim and showing that it originates from Richard Lynn, a self-proclaimed racist. Again, I'm saying the claim Trump made was racist, and Zach was arguing that it wasn't. In other words, we're not even talking about Zachariah Hoyt. We are talking about Donald J. Trump. Literally at no point in that video did I call Zach a racist, and that's what YouTube's AI communicated here. Somehow, he thinks YouTube saying, no, Birdman didn't call you a racist, is YouTube saying, yes, Birdman did call you a racist. This guy's a moron. And second, Zach's screen is proving that he pre-watches videos he reacts to on stream. If you look at the URL bar when he goes to search, he has a pre-made URL replete with the exact timestamp he needs to attempt to prove his point. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Like, there's no way that he could have, like, timestamps prepared for him in advance. He's always like, what's this? What's this? Like, he's pretending that somebody in his community is sending it to him, but it's obviously Asmongold that, like, prepares timestamps in advance conveniently for the reactions that he's doing. It's extremely performative.
So as you can see, his reactions are not honest or genuine. He comes into these streams with ready-made talking points and pretends he's watching these things for the first time, proving that he was afraid of showing his audience my rebuttal video.
So let me pull this up. Listen to it.
Brings us back to Zach's tweet.
Right.
Yes, this claim is racist because it was made by
racist. There we go.
Which, by the way, was not Birdman's original point. Birdman's original point is saying that, like, the claim that you made was racist. And you're trying to basically say that, that he was calling you a racist person, which that wasn't what it was. Again, it's a semantics debate, but, like, whatever. Like, Asmongold couldn't even debunk that point. Just crazy.
No, he's not saying you're racist. He's saying everything you're saying is racist and made a video about it. Right, of course.
Video where I spent the length of a short film ramming my fist up your ass is the one you ran away.
It's interesting that Asmongold doesn't want to debunk any points of him being a racist person. He's more even he himself is more focused on, like, the semantics of it, which is a little bit interesting. Kind of tells us a lot about Asmongold as a person.
From.
It's too long.
We heard you the first time, coward. You don't need to pause every other second to reassure us, you insecure bitch. If you think your audience is so brain dead they can't sit through more than a couple of seconds of someone else talking, perhaps you should stop contributing to that and train them better.
Jesus Christ, god damn, Birdman is so salty. God damn, oh my god. Birdman came for blood. Birdman came for blood. Like, we got content today, guys. We got ourselves some content.
Red means shut the fuck up. I'm still talking.
What is this?
Green
is
means
this from his other video?
It's your turn to.
It's so weird that Asmongold pauses and is like, wait, what is this? You pre-watched this. You should know what this is.
Speak. You seem to have difficulty understanding when someone hasn't finished making a point, so I have to get elementary on your ass.
So he made this. So he made this video for me.
Who else would I be making the video for? I'm using second-person pronouns, dipshit. Unlike you, I'm not afraid to directly address the person I have a problem with, and I don't have to send my audience to go do my dirty work.
Well, that's nice.
IQ, after all.
Okay.
Anyway, a few days ago, Zachariah here posted this tweet in response to Joe Bartolozzi refuting the claim that black people are more likely to commit crimes than white people.
Right.
Let's have a listen. Often resort to property and violent crime. A 2021 study published in the NLM found that more...
This, by the way, all of this is true. It doesn't refute my argument at all.
And he just never elaborates on it, on, like, why it doesn't refute his argument. Just never elaborates.
This does not refute my argument in any capacity.
So why don't you say what the argument is, then?
No, it's all true. Because I said it. You see, Asmongold, you've come up against a person that tirelessly does the actual research, puts that research on the screen, and places the link to that research in the description of the videos so that anyone can fact-check those claims. Unlike you, I know what I'm talking about and have the entirety of scientific discovery backing up the claims that I make. You're just some guy that talks into a cheap microphone at an audience that can barely comprehend anything more complicated than a Harry Potter book. This part of the video isn't—
I feel like even that's giving them too much credit. A Harry Potter book? You gotta have a certain IQ to understand the Harry Potter books. Well, actually, guys, I'm doing the copy pasta. Yes, you have to have a certain IQ to understand the Harry Potter books.
me refuting your—
Even that's giving Asmongold's audience too much credit.
argument. It's me cleaning up the argument Joe made and providing evidence that his claim is true, which you just agreed to, by the way.
By the way, all of this is true?
Try to keep up, hillbilly. You're demonstrating a lower IQ than those Somali people you were talking about.
But yes,
Damn, that's crazy.
it's obviously people
Somalian people do not have a lower IQ, by the way. Just have to clarify that.
that are poor commit more crime. Yeah, duh.
Interestingly, the study also found that the more equal the distribution of resources, the higher the trust equilibrium, and that increasing punishment severity—
Trust equilibrium is also established by having a homogenous society that's not multiracial or multi-ethnic.
Yep, and there's the dog whistle.
There's also another factor for that. So if you think that's the only vector that you should use, you would also be advocating for that too.
Guess
That is insane. The fact that he's just like dog whistling to his... he doesn't elaborate on that on purpose because he wants to dog whistle to his audience that black people are lesser than. Like, Asmongold has been very consistent with that for ages. He constantly fucking dog whistles this to his audience.
what, Zach? We have a study for that. Here's a study by Sturgis et al. That specifically addresses this very concern. In that study, they found that there is no effect of ethnic diversity on generalized trust, and that the effect on strategic trust is trivial and dwarfed by the effects of economic deprivation.
Yeah, that time Asmongold's not gonna Google the information because he knows if he Googles it, he would immediately get fucking debunked. The only time Asmongold ever fact checks or researches stuff in, like, the search feed is if he knows that it's going to be a slam dunk on his point, or if he knows it's going to validate everything that he is saying. That's the only time he looks it up. Because, again, Asmongold and his audience are all feelings-based. Asmongold and his audience don't care about facts at all.
In other words, you're wrong. But what else is new? You're also forgetting places like Singapore, which is arguably more culturally diverse than the United States, yet is richer per capita, dramatically safer, and ranks higher than the US on multiple quality of life metrics. Almost like racial homogeneity creates trust is an incredibly reductive explanation for social stability, and that functioning institutions, economic opportunity, and social cohesion matter a hell of a lot more. Is not effective at this goal. And that particular piece of information relates to our pal Pigpen here, where he has routinely argued for more severe punishment.
Pigpen? Guys, I pre-watched this video, and I'm questioning everything that I'm watching right now.
Yes.
Looks like
correct.
the science disagrees with him. Surprise, surprise.
Science. This is, by the way, this is not science. Sociology and everything about this is not science. It is Karen consensus. That's all there is.
I actually kind of agree with Zach here. Sociology isn't a hard science, and this is what he meant to say. Hard sciences like geology, biology, and chemistry measure things that are objectively true no matter the context.
Well, the study of human interaction and human beings is a science, so, like, I don't know. I feel like you're giving him a little bit too much credit here, Birdman. You definitely could have gone harder on this point.
Soft sciences like sociology are
You're having the exact opposite problem with your fucking racism semantics debate that you were having earlier on this point.
of science that measure things that are more often subjectively true, because we are dealing with humanity and its various cultures, things that can change depending on the location and even time. Where we diverge is that this discussion is literally about sociology's specific field of study. Humanity. Nearly every study we can produce about human behavior is sociology. Asmongold himself is using sociological concepts when he refers to things like race.
Which, by the way, again, the study of human beings is a science. Yes, it is.
Social construct. Hell, the discussion of crime stats itself is a form of sociology. Just because sociology isn't a hard science doesn't mean it's not useful, especially in the context of human beings. Otherwise, you're left trying to explain things like crime primarily through biology or racial essentialism rather than material conditions, poverty, education, and opportunity. And that's what gets you called racist on the internet, Zach, because that is not supported by any form of science. It's just you talking out of your ass to sycophants that clap like seals anytime you open your rotting mouth. And
Where's your source, Birdman? Actually, I should be asking Asmongold that question. Asmongold, where's your source? Oh, I just saw it on my Twitter feed. Okay, immediately invalidate it. If you hear somebody say, hey, I saw this piece of information on my Twitter feed, immediately invalidate that person.
that's what makes you a grifter, because you tell racist people what they want to hear so they continue to enrich you. I tell you people what you need to hear.
Thanks, Green. Yeah, this video is very obnoxious, but that's fine.
Cry about it, bitch. Your entire...
Jesus Christ. Fucking God. Birdman is so nasty in this video. I kind of get it, though. Like, Asmongold is spewing racist shit, so... You can only be a racist piece of shit for so long before, like, people are not going to be nice to you.
Your existence is obnoxious, but we are still inundated with your bullshit anyway. Fuck you. Anyway, similar findings have appeared in studies examining crime in Mexico, Indonesia, Canada, and across the European Union, like this one here, where it's shown that people who are at risk of poverty report experiencing higher crime in their local area. So you see, this pattern is global and not unique to any ethnic group. Poor community.
It isn't unique to any ethnic group, but different ethnic groups and different age brackets and genders commit crime at much different rates.
Yeah, and Asmongold does this consistently. Again, like, I go more into depth with it in my, like, reaction to this video that Birdman's citing here, but Asmongold on purpose is vague as fuck. He never actually elaborates on his points, and he does this intentionally. He does it on purpose so his audience can interpret it in any way they want to, and he is essentially trying to dog whistle to his audience that black people are evil people, basically. That's what he's doing. He intentionally keeps this shit vague. It is so intentional.
This guy is hearing and watching me prove him wrong, agreeing with what I said, and then immediately contradicting himself. No, Zach. Ethnic groups do not commit crime at different rates when you correct for the very factors that you just agreed to correct for, you idiot. The only outlier on your list is gender. Yes, men commit far more crime than women do, but that's not what this discussion is about, and you only said that to fill out your otherwise incredibly thin and evidence-less soliloquy.
I mean, yeah, again, the fact that Asmongold brought up gender was also kind of pointless, because when people do crime statistics, both men and women are accounted for in crime statistics, so this whole, like, idea of bringing women into it really, like, it was just kind of pointless.
We are talking specifically about ethnicity, and I just proved, with evidence on the fucking screen behind you, numbnuts, that people do not commit crime at different rates when corrected for the factors that lead to crime in the first place. You are starting at the outcome instead of the cause, dumbass. We are talking about the cause. But more than that, you have no evidence for the claims you're making. You just talk and expect people to take you at your word. I showed you mine. Where are your statistics? Where are your studies? Where's your evidence? You're on the internet. There is nothing stopping you from using Google and proving what you're saying to your audience. The problem is, if you did that, your Google search would prove you wrong in real time. And as we all know, just like the reason you don't stream difficult games anymore, you're deathly afraid of looking incompetent in real time.
God, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Oh, man. Birdman is not playing around this time. He came for blood. He is going in. And honestly, like, genuinely, I'm of the perspective that it really is hard to feel bad for someone like Asmongold. It really is. Because Asmongold constantly spews hateful shit online. He's cultivated an audience of, like, incels, teeth-rotting incels that are probably just as unhealthy as Asmongold is. And he, like, just says nasty shit about women. He intentionally calls them bitches. And listen, I've called women bitches too, but there's a difference between calling a woman a bitch because she's being bitchy and then calling a woman a bitch just because she's a woman. Like, there's a massive difference between the two, and Asmongold does the latter. Like, Asmongold, and he wonders why he's fucking single at the age of 36 and he doesn't have a girlfriend. Yeah, Asmongold, I wonder why. Jesus Christ. Wonder why no woman would ever want to be around your disgusting slobby ass. Like, genuinely.
And insecure.
It's hard to feel bad for someone like him when you hear Birdman go in on him, is my point.
Or coward, in other words.
So in order to determine whether somebody is going to commit crimes or not, or what the probability of them doing that or not, the way that you do that is through a multifaceted approach. There's not only one factor that goes into committing crimes. If there was, and that was the only factor that mattered, then you would see poverty that would have a one-to-one correlation between every single other instance of these different demographics committing crimes. But that's not the case. And the reason that's not the case is because it's not true.
And would you like to share those other factors with the class, Zach? Or will you...
This is what I'm talking about. He intentionally is keeping it vague. It's so intentional.
You could just be saying words like all other charlatans on the internet. I mean, disregarding the fact that this entire video is me providing multiple factors for crime, it should be trivial to back up the things you're saying. But somehow providing evidence for the claims you make is something you just can't seem to do. Flat earthers also just say the earth is flat, but they have yet to provide photographic evidence of that being the case. So, like them, we can safely disregard the claims you make until you provide evidence. And no, Zachariah, Talking is not evidence. Just saying, everyone knows it's true, is not evidence. Produce empirical evidence or stop making claims you cannot substantiate.
Yeah, and that's another thing. When Asmongold says everybody knows this, or it's a fact, it's like this, he's calling people stupid that disagree with him. And he's not explicitly, he may not be explicitly saying that, but he absolutely is, like, implying it when he says that, like, people in his audience are stupid for being like, everybody knows this, everybody knows that everything I'm saying is a fact, and anyone who disagrees with me is dumb. That's what he's communicating. He's not going to explicitly say that, but that is what he's saying. Just because you say something in a calm tone and like what appears to be a rational tone, just because your tone of voice is calm doesn't mean what you're saying is calm or what you're saying is not unhinged as fuck. What you're saying is still very disgusting. You are still being a racist piece of shit.
The same socioeconomic mechanisms observed in poor Black American neighborhoods are observed worldwide amongst people of entirely different ethnicities and cultures. Even the white supremacist favorite non-white country, Japan experiences higher crime rates when poverty and unemployment rates rise, as shown in this study. Moving slightly west, South Korea is experiencing what they call a silver crime wave, where the
It's actually crazy that somebody can be this stupid.
Agreed.
And then he never elaborates. That's interesting.
It's really crazy that somebody can think that poverty is the only defining variable that has to do at all with crime.
And by the way, Birdman's video elaborates on this point, like, way later. Like, Birdman makes it very clear that poverty isn't the only factor. He makes that very clear in his video, but Asmongold pre-watched this video and knows when to pause and what to say and when to say it. So he can conveniently prime his audience into thinking that Birdman is not as credible of a source as he actually is.
It's unbelievable. It's genuine. It's genuinely impressive.
Does anyone else notice a distinct lack of me saying poverty is the only variable in crime? I'm almost certain Zach just listened to me clearly state the same socioeconomic mechanisms in poor Black American neighborhoods are observed worldwide amongst people of entirely different ethnicities and cultures.
Again, he pre-watched this video and he pauses it conveniently before Birdman brings up the other variables of crime rates.
That's when he heard me say mechanisms with an S, his sperm cell-sized brain overheated.
The sperm cell-sized brain. I'm stealing that one, Birdman. That's a new one.
Then it's also strange that immediately after I said that, I put a study concerning Japan on the screen where it clearly states that unemployment is also a causal link to crime. You see, what Zach just tried to do here is called...
Well, yeah, and also because Black people were not given as many employment Yeah, exactly. They weren't given as many employment opportunities because you could deny a Black person from job. You can deny a Black person from getting proper education, and inevitably that's going to result in more crime rate. We've also, by the way, seen this with Italian people. The reason why the Italian mafia existed is because Italian people were robbed of opportunities when they came here. And that's the reason why the Italian mafia became a thing.
A straw man argument. My argument was far too difficult for him to refute, so he has to change the parameters to something I did not say and attempt to force me to argue against it. Nuh-uh. This guy's like a 2D drawing attempting to hide something from a 3-dimensional being.
Wealthy people don't get caught? Well, wealthy people, so this is the reality. The poorer you are, the higher the probability is that you will commit crime. However, there are also different genetic variabilities. There are other cultural variabilities. There is gender as well. Here, if income is the main predictor on whether people would commit crime or not, who do you guys think commits more crime? Rich men or poor women? And by the way, poor women, well, do you want to look it up?
So, Zach continues on with his straw man argument here, asking Grok the dumbest question you could possibly ask in this context. Who commits more crime in the US, poor women or rich men? As I stated earlier, men commit more crime than women do, so his question is flawed and assumes I don't agree that gender impacts crime statistics. Since poverty is one of the mechanisms that factually correlates with crime, the question he should have asked was, who commits more crime in the US, poor men or rich men? I've even taken the liberty of using the exact same source Asmongold uses, Grok, and lo and behold, his own source says poor men commit far more crime in the US than rich men. It's almost like when you ask a relevant question, Asmongold easily gets debunked.
And I can do it with race, too. Which group commits more crime? Poor Asians or Black African Americans?
I also wouldn't doubt that Asmongold preemptively, like, had Grok prompts earlier in his history. And, like, he wanted to ask enough Grok prompts to know what specifically to ask, so that way he could performatively pretend like he's doing this for the first time, just so Grok spits out information that he know will be a slam dunk.
In the U.S. Oh, sorry. Let me go, or sorry, Rich. Let me look this up, or Rich. Excuse me. There we go. If it was only income, you wouldn't have this.
So that was a struggle, but he finally managed to get through it. And I'd like to remind the audience that this is why I will sometimes use an AI chatbot to dispel the things these people say, because it's clearly a source that they will accept. Now, I know some of them are disingenuous and will try to discount these chatbots when it disagrees with them, but again, that only further demonstrates why they are grifters and not people to be trusted. Anyway, the question isn't who has done something, the question is why have they done it? Notice what just happened here. In my video, which we all know he has pre-watched, I explained that crime is influenced by a web of factors like generational poverty, segregation, over-policing, education disparity, and social conditions.
And also black people that are like cops that are over-ticketing black neighborhoods. That's like another factor that's been done throughout history. That's still sometimes even a problem to this day. So it's not like entirely gone. Obviously, like racism has gotten better, but it's not completely gone.
And Zach's response was to ask an AI chatbot for a racialized crime comparison between two arbitrarily selected groups. For example, what are Asians? Is he referring to East Asians like the Japanese and the Mongolians? Southeast Asians like the Thai and the Vietnamese? South Asians like Indians and Afghanis? And even if that stat is true, it still would not prove what Zach clearly wants the audience to infer from it, that black people are inherently more criminal than other groups. If I tell you one group has a higher outcome than another group, that does not magically prove the cause is biological. You still have to explain the mechanism producing the disparity. But Zach skips all of that and jumps straight from different outcomes exist to implying ethnicity itself is the explanation. He is once again starting at the outcome instead of the conditions producing that outcome. I've spoken about this before.
Well, again, he is, like I said earlier in this video, but Asmongold intentionally makes it vague so that he can dog whistle to his audience that black people are violent creatures and that they are subhuman, basically.
White supremacists on the internet stupidly argue that personal wealth solves societal issues. This is why we have guys like Nerdrotic trying to argue that Michael B. Jordan should be fine with someone calling him the N-word because he's rich and has sex with women.
Great.
And anybody feeling sorry for millionaire Michael B. Jordan, who's out there slaying pussy left and right in his 50 cars? Because, you know,
this guy doesn't get any pussy at all, by the way. Like, I can tell just by, like, the nerd collection in his back. And listen, I love nerd shit in your background, but, like, just by the way this guy conducts himself, by the way he's communicating, the way he's, like, saying, this guy gets pussy, this guy slays tons of pussy. Like, dude, this guy is, like, this guy hasn't seen a pussy until he was, like, 50 years old, at least.
Because he's been successful, and good for you. Don't. Okay? He's fine.
Those two things have nothing to do with each other and completely ignores that, yes, wealthy black people are still subject to societal issues, chief among them, over-policing. A rich black man is far more likely to be pulled over in a Ferrari than a white man is. A rich black man gets the police called on him for trying to take money out of his bank account. A wealthy black man got arrested for trying to enter his own home after the police were called because a witness thought he was trying to break into his own house. As for Grok's answer, the source it uses to answer Asmongold's question is City Journal, specifically this article, where they do exactly what I said these groups do in my last video.
And also, Asmongold doesn't account for the fact that, like, tons of black people throughout history have been falsely arrested, and that's also gonna mean that the exoneration rate for black people is gonna be higher than other races because of all the false arrests that have happened to black people. He never brings that up on purpose.
Attempt to weaponize Asians and Asian Americans against black people. City Journal is a conservative website published by the Manhattan Institute for Policy Research, the very same institution that Charles Murray belonged to. Murray is famously one of the authors of The Bell Curve, the many times debunked book that argues for racial disparities in IQ. Doesn't that sound familiar? Anyway, it's clear those publications have an anti-black bias, and the piece in City Journal that Grok is citing here is not a peer-reviewed paper and is published as an op-ed. And since Asmongold didn't show us the other sources Grok used, electing to simply accept Grok's answer, I asked Grok the exact same question and assessed the sources myself. It gave three main sources for its claims: the same City Journal article Asmon showed, a 2016 study where they examined incarceration, and that'll be important in a bit, and a 2021 study conducted by Dylan Small of the Wharton School. Since we've already covered the biased City Journal article, and remember, it's just an article, not a peer-reviewed study published in a scientific journal, I'll focus on the other two sources as they are actual studies. In the first study, the researchers sought to examine the likelihood of incarceration of young people as it intersects with wealth, finding that this likelihood was higher for black cohorts. However, they notate that a limitation of this study is that since they don't know the nature of the crimes committed, the wealth accumulation could have been a result of criminal activity. This means this study isn't relevant to what we are talking about, because we aren't talking about people who were criminals and became affluent through criminal activity, which by itself disqualifies this study as a source for Asmongold's claim. Further, incarceration does not mean one has committed a crime, as our favorite chatbot has so generously decided decided to answer for us. So Grok's sources are 0 for 2. In the Wharton study, the researchers' conclusions are nearly the opposite of Grok's claim, that black individuals of the same socioeconomic status as white people in Philadelphia were at a higher risk of being shot, not that they are statistically more likely to commit crime. This is not an answer to the question Asmongold asked. This is why you do the actual research, you goofy bastard.
So this is, I don't know how a person can be this stupid. I really don't. It's sad.
It's sad, guys. I pre-watched this video, and I still can't understand the arguments that Birdman is making, and my audience can't either, but it doesn't matter because they'll blindly believe everything I say because they think I'm a very rational person.
Poverty in its aging
He never said that. He did say that.
So there is hope for Asmon's audience after all. Perhaps I treated you too harshly, daughter. Someone in his chat correctly pointed out that Asmon is lying to his audience, attributing claims to me that I did not make, and he immediately shut that person down and continued lying. Gangsta Yosh, you are noticed.
He's implying that the reason why there's a difference between crime is because of socioeconomic status. And even when you control for socioeconomic status, there is a dramatic variance in crime based off of ethnicities.
And as we just proved, he doesn't actually have a source supporting this claim.
It's just like, it's what I'm talking about. Again, like Asmongold's entire video, the reason why I'm not saying much is because I've already debunked a lot of these points in my previous video. So if you guys want me to like go in depth more with Asmongold's points like further, again, just watch my previous reaction. The link to it will be in the description of this video, so you guys could feel free to check it out for yourselves. But it's just like, it's what I'm talking about. It's just, the entire video is just black people bad. Like, black people are violent, black people are creatures, they're subhuman. That's literally all the video is, and it's just, it's exhausting to listen to after a while.
It is a defined fact that is statistically represented.
But the broader statistical relationship between resource deprivation and crime appears repeatedly across continents and populations. This is why many scholars argue that racial disparities in crime are better understood through the lens of concentrated poverty, inequality, historical segregation, and access to opportunity, rather than race itself.
The funny thing about this is that...
Oh, allow me, Zach. The funny thing about this is that you just heard me say that poverty isn't exclusively the reason communities engage in crime, listing off multiple different factors, and you had no response to that. The whole beginning of your video has been you arguing against a position I don't even hold, something Gangsta Yosh tried to tell your moronic ass. Hell, Big Cat here also tried to warn you that your usage of Grok would backfire on you, and you still put out this video anyway. Oh, if I could only see the look on your face when you pre-watch this video and decide not to respond to it.
I mean, yeah, because Asmongold's gonna be like, it's too long, guys. I can't react to a video that's too fucking long. Oh, no.
Black people are the only group of people that's ever been discriminated against in America.
Yeah, again, this is a disingenuous point because, like, obviously other groups have been oppressed in history, but black people have been oppressed systemically and systematically the most. It's not even close.
That's it. No other group of people has ever been discriminated against in America at all.
It's just a dumb engagement. This entire point that Asmongold's making, it's a dumb engagement. It's obviously not the point Birdman was making.
This is a surprise. I didn't know this.
If you spent as much time brushing your teeth as you did erecting straw men, you wouldn't look like a $16 truck stop prostitute when you smiled, Zach.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Oh man. Bro, that hurt me and I'm not even the one he's directing it to. Damn. That's tough.
How many teeth did you lose? I have a single-digit number of actual real teeth left.
Damn, that's crazy.
This is Trigger Black Guy? Yeah, I don't know. I think this is an AI voice, so I'm not even sure if this guy's black in the first place, but who knows?
Let's cut the shit, Zach. My channel is older than yours. I was the #1 ranked Blanca player in the world back when you were doing your first World at Warcraft raid and still had a tangible hairline. I have videos older than your entire YouTube channel. I can't possibly have been an AI before AI existed, dumbass. You stole this weak AI voiceover idea from your dumbass fans who were so thoroughly impressed by my melodious voice. Their only recourse was to cope.
The comments, man, I love the chat right now. Blanca deserves more respect. Motherfucker, do you know who I am? You're looking at the #1 Blanca player on PlayStation in the world. Me. Look up the rankings for Street Fighter 4. Me. Now, currently, it says #2. Let's look that up real fast. I want to show y'all.
Is it just me or does Birdman's voice sound different? I mean, to be fair, when you're scripting a video, you're going to have the mic closer to your mouth and you're going to try to have the mic quality like be different for recording videos than when you're streaming and you're doing stuff live in the moment. But like he kind of does sound a little bit different here. I don't know.
All right, so here you go. In the rankings, If I go to...
It definitely is the same voice. It's just it has a bit of a different tone to it, I guess, while he's live streaming.
Let's get past him. Would you look at that? Look who is at the top. Now, you'll see that this Japanese guy is in first place, and I'm in second place. This is the world, by the way. So you can see it's not just American flags, it's all flags. This guy that's number one boosted to get past me. So this is not a real ranking. I'm actually number one in the world, and I had been number one in the world for like 7 straight years. You can actually find people uploading videos of me on YouTube because they beat me. And obviously they're not going to upload me beating them. So it's a big deal when you beat the number one guy. I am a Street Fighter player. My main is Blanca. My main character is Blanca, and I play with Blanca. I've been playing with Blanca since like 1992. That's why my avatar is Blanca. Is because I'm a Street Fighter player. This is what I...
Damn, Birdman is a lot more old school than I thought he was. I've never been like a Street Fighter player, so I have no commentary to give over this part, but like he's playing Street Fighter, he's playing a lot of these like older games. I respect it, honestly. He's very old school. I didn't know Birdman was that old school.
I was a part of a fighting game clan for the longest. I was our resident Blanca player, and you know, when I had started uploading videos on YouTube, I didn't have an avatar, so I was like, hey, I'm a Blanca player. Let me just, you know, use Blanca's visage. And that's why Blanca is my avatar. So for you to sit here and suggest that Blanca deserves more respect, well, you're looking at the respect, motherfucker. I am Blanca, nigga. I am the guy. That's me.
Oh my God.
Anybody want to see me in this game, step up.
The reason black people are associated with crime in the United States is because black Americans have historically faced disproportionate levels of concentrated poverty, segregation, underinvestment, and systemic exclusion from economic opportunity.
None of that stuff makes you steal makeup from a CVS. None of that makes you commit murder. None of that makes you go out and violently rob people. The idea that this is somehow okay or acceptable or anything else, this is also immediately disproven whenever you control for socioeconomic factors. Immediately this is disproven. No, it's not because of that.
Would you like to commit to a thought and finish it? What's with the random switch of topics? One thing at a time. No one has said these socioeconomic factors make any individual do anything. What was said was that those factors contribute to conditions that lead people into crime. And again, you're dog whistling here. Are you suggesting that black people are the only people that steal from CVS, rob?
Yes, that's what his entire video is. Like I said, you have to get to a point with like Asmongold where like everything that he says, like, he's gotten more and more unhinged, and Asmongold knows that, like, when he says more unhinged shit for attention, that, like, the numbers are doing well on Twitter. It's only a matter of time before MAGA's bubble bursts and, like, the narrative shifts back left. We're already seeing the narrative slowly but surely shift back left because Trump has been such a terrible fucking president, and this grift that Asmongold is doing is not going to be sustainable forever. And so, like, Asmongold is gonna sit and cry, and he's gonna turn out to be like every other Chud streamer, and he's just gonna go on, like, Rumble or something and fade into irrelevance.
People and commit murder? No, they're not, right? Okay, then. So your argument then has to switch to something like per capita or they are more likely to. And now we're back at square one. You are not explaining the why, Asmongold. You are describing an is. The sky is blue. Notice that's not explaining why the sky is blue. This is the question scientists are answering with the studies I have provided. The why.
This is also immediately disproven whenever you control for socioeconomic factors. Immediately this is disproven. No, it's not because of that.
Notice how Zach hasn't provided a source for this claim? Yeah, I noticed that too.
Exactly, because Asmongold will only look something up or fact-check something the moment, like, it's a slam dunk or that it proves him right, or he knows for a fact it'll prove him right.
And it's as I said, Google is a few clicks away. I mean, he already gave us something from Grok. Why won't he do this for all of his claims? He's engaged in a fight with a guy whose weapons are sources, and he came with hobo breath.
And also, this wasn't even what I said.
And teeth rot. Can't forget that either.
By the way, none of this even had anything to do with it, period.
It's almost like I'm still providing evidence for Joe Bartolozzi's claim or something. We can barely get through it because you keep pausing, even with the indicator to stop pausing. You think I'm putting your goofy ass face on the screen for fun? You've forgotten what I'm even talking about because you have low impulse control and the inability to shut up for more than 15 seconds. Conditions that criminologists and sociologists have repeatedly linked to higher crime rates across every population on Earth, regardless of ethnicity.
Of course.
Once Black American slaves were freed, they immediately faced
wait a minute. We're talking about freed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we got rid of slavery.
God.
See what I mean? This man lacks the ability to shut up and listen to what someone is saying. If you would let the video continue to play, you'd see that I'm referring to two things. The immediate aftermath of Juneteenth, a period of time where, yes, there were still slaves, mainly because a lot of slaves simply did not know they were free and their slave masters weren't going to tell them, and a metaphorical free, where to this day, institutions are set up specifically to entrap black people to force them into the for-profit prison system. Sounds like freedom to me.
So this has always been my outlook about it, is that...
Well, also, once slavery ended, by the way, Jim Crow laws were created as well to basically stop black people from voting. You had to read to vote, you had to write to vote, and unfortunately, black people didn't have this ability nearly as much as white people did back in the day because they were slaves, they were robbed from opportunities, and they couldn't get the opportunities that white people had, and so you were naturally, or unnaturally in this case, going to see black people, you know, not succeed as much as white people, and so they wouldn't be able to vote. Jim Crow laws were created with the intention to stop black people from voting. It was pretty nasty. Also, 3/5 compromise as well was another thing after slavery.
There have been a lot of groups inside of America that have been oppressed, that have been denied opportunities, or having other things that are like that. Anytime that you're advocating for an advantage for one group of person versus another group, fundamentally what you're doing is you are trying to institutionalize racism. You are trying to implement and...
Oh, that's another thing. When Asmongold brings up racism and with a negative connotation, Asmongold is talking about being racist to white people, which is... kind of funny, not gonna lie. Given the context of the entire video that we're talking about, Asmongold talking about being racist to white people is hilarious to me. Can you be racist to white people? Yes. Am I shitting my pants too hard at it? Abso-fucking-lutely not. I'm sorry. Like, you know damn well that the racism white people receive is nowhere even close to as bad as the racism that black people received. Like, stop pretending like these two things are equal. They very obviously are not.
Enact racism.
So what Zach just communicated here is the oft-repeated white supremacist talking point that equality is a zero-sum game, that reducing discrimination against one group must somehow come at the expense of another, as though fairness itself is theft. But that worldview only makes sense if you see social progress as a hierarchy, where one group must remain beneath another for society to function properly. Capitalism. In reality, expanding access to education, housing, employment, and civil rights does not take away from anyone else. It simply means more people get treated like full human beings under that system. The fact that some people interpret equality as oppression says far more about how accustomed they are to unequal treatment than it does about the people asking to be treated fairly.
And the reality is that the people that are poor, that are white, probably has less advantages than somebody who's rich, who's black. So I do agree that people should get, help, but it shouldn't be done on a racial basis. It should be done on a means basis, on an income basis. That's obviously what should happen. But yes, the quote...
It's interesting, because, don't we already do that, though? Asmongold's talking like we don't already do this in America. We do. By the way, you vote for the president that's trying to take this fucking stuff away from us. Or, no, sorry, excuse me. I forgot. Asmongold doesn't vote. He never leaves his house. The only way Asmongold would do a vote is if he did mail-in votes. But, he never leaves his house, so he didn't vote for Donald Trump at all. He's too much of a lazy piece of shit. Asmongold supports a president that's trying to make cuts to these things. So he obviously doesn't care about this point. He's virtue signaling. He is virtue signaling to his audience to try to seem like a reasonable conservative when he is not. He is a far-right cocksucker.
Freed the slaves. Yeah, they actually did free the slaves. Oh my God.
He faced discrimination, a lack of economic opportunities, exclusion from wealth-building institutions.
We fixed all these, by the way. We fixed all these.
We literally have not. The very image you have paused on the screen is referring to the denial of bank loans to black people. This is still happening today. In a 2022 analysis conducted by Che and Mattingly, it was shown that black borrowers are still denied for loans at a higher rate than any other group, at nearly twice the average. It literally did not matter what the purpose of the loan was for. Black people were denied the most in every single category. But we fixed it, right, Asmongold?
We fixed all these, by the way. We fixed all these.
The other two things I listed before he paused the video were discrimination in hiring and a lack of economic opportunity. According to a 2021 study, people with black-sounding names had a reduced probability of employer callbacks. We fixed that, though, right, Asmongold?
We fixed all these, by the way. We fixed all these.
Segregated housing, unequal education, targeted policing, and widespread racial violence. Each of those things on...
Isn't it crazy how a lot of that widespread racial violence kind of just disappeared? I feel like we don't really...
Okay, Charlottesville, what else? Dollar Tree shooting, the fucking El Paso Walmart shooting, Chud the Builder recently, because he's putting himself in situations where he could be violent to black people. Yeah, Asmongold, violence to black people has suddenly disappeared. You sure about that, dude? You sure you want to double down on that claim? You sure?
See a lot of that anymore. We don't.
Yeah, well, we literally just saw a situation where that did happen. Chud the Builder.
And when we do, it's the other way around.
Is it? Are you sure about that? Is there white American slavery, white lynchings, white race massacres, Jim Crow terrorism against white people, a new red summer, state-enforced segregation, mob violence that is openly celebrated by institutions? Because that's what I'm talking about, the historical reality of widespread racial violence that was organized, systemic, and socially sanctioned attempts to subordinate an entire ethnic group. Because you got your ass beat in a Target by Pookie and Ray Ray for shit-talking in the produce aisle is not what I'm referring to, dumbass. Racial violence against black people was and is organized. Black people aren't putting on ghost costumes and burning wood in your front yard.
Jesus Christ, dude.
This doesn't refute my argument or my position at all.
It doesn't refute it because I said it doesn't refute it. Not because it actually is true or anything. It's just... Yeah, like I said, he's unserious. Like, when you actually break down some of the shit Asmongold says, you really understand fundamentally how stupid of a person he really is. When you actually break it down, you actually watch him and you actually listen to the stupid-ass shit that he says. He is just a dumb idiot person, and you should not take someone like him seriously at all.
Black people were subjected to all of them at the same time. The United States created a permanent underclass in the form of black Americans.
It's a permanent underclass? If it's a permanent underclass, then how'd Barack Obama become the president?
What you've just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
It is an injustice that this man is able to influence so many young people through the internet. He truly believed that this was a rational...
Well, again, we lived in a time period where, like, right-wing people are validated. The most far-right insane motherfuckers are validated. And there is a safe space for a lot of these people now. Twitter, some places in real life now, unfortunately. Donald Trump has cultivated it as well, being the fucking president. The administration that is racist to people, they like have explicitly said that they don't want non-white immigrants coming into the country. Donald Trump only wants white immigrants coming into the country, who, by the way, would only vote blue, like, which makes no fucking sense. Again, it also goes to show how stupid of a person Trump is as well. Like, it's insane. It's genuinely fucking crazy to me that these people are allowed to exist and they feel validated in doing it because everything is feelings-based to them. They are not facts-based. They are feelings-based. I cannot stress this enough.
Response. He didn't laugh. He wasn't pretending. He actually thinks that an individual member of a historically lower class becoming the president means there isn't a permanent underclass. Asmongold is actually unintelligent, people. This is by far the stupidest thing I've heard him say, and he has montages on YouTube, hours worth of stupid comments. What he just did is the equivalent of pointing at a billionaire and saying, well, I guess poverty doesn't exist. Obama becoming the president is significant precisely because of the history of exclusion.
Also, isn't Obama, like, half white as well? So, like, this is, like, not even, like, the best example of it either.
Even then, Obama is half white and grew up with white middle-class Americans.
Oh my god, yeah. I literally just said that, wow.
Obama didn't see the kinds of generational poverty the majority of black Americans do. Using him is hilariously weak because he's not even close to a representative of a typical black American. And you people still wanted to literally...
Yeah, I mean, not to say that Obama becoming president wasn't, like, an achievement for black people, because it was. It definitely was, but he's not, like, a typical black American that unfortunately grew up during the systemic and systematic racism in America, sadly.
Lynch him.
There's plenty of successful black people. What are you talking about?
Guys, successful black people exist, therefore racism is non-existent.
Per capita. Finally, I get to use this against y'all. Of all the racial groups in America, black Americans are on the lowest socioeconomic rung, per capita. Strangely, you think that anyone is arguing that there are zero wealthy black Americans, and that is because you are stupid. Apparently, I'm the first person...
Facts. Asmongold is not a very smart person.
...to tell you this, Zach. You're dumb. Freeing formerly enslaved people without providing meaningful economic restitution, equal protection under the law, or fair access to housing, education...
Also, that's the thing. If somebody tells you you're stupid and you find out, oh, by the way, I watch Asmongold for my content, immediately invalidate their opinion. It's like, immediately discard their opinion. You guys get your opinion. If you get your opinion from Asmongold, you have no right to call other people stupid, just to be absolutely clear.
And employment, while simultaneously...
Historically, this is accurate, but current day, and in recent history, this hasn't really been true. Like, at least not really in my lifetime.
What the fuck is he even saying?
Like maybe you can point to like one example of like some racist law in like Mississippi or something, but overall we've gotten rid of a lot of this.
Then it's a good thing I am talking about history, isn't it, Zach? You're still on the section of the video where I'm supporting Joe's argument with relevant data and evidence. You admit what I am saying is true. Good. The next step is recognizing that these factors still majorly affect the conditions of today. If you didn't eat breakfast this morning, you might feel hungry later. Cause and effect. If historically black people were denied access to valuable real estate, then what we should see in the modern day, if what I am saying is accurate, is a significant gap in home ownership. And lo and behold, that is exactly what we see. Cause and effect. How is it possible that you accept that these things happened, but at the same time deny their residual effects? How is it possible to be this brain dead? Pop quiz, ass on mold. What do you do when you don't have access to decent education, can't get a job?
Oh, I remember. Asmongold gives like a smart-ass answer here, and he says, you steal from a CVS, you do things that black people do. Ha ha ha. I'm so clever, guys.
In a slum and can barely feed yourself.
You burn down the CVS, you steal makeup, you shoot each other, and you kill people, right? That's
yes, because black people are inherently violent. Good job, Asmongold. Yay.
Obviously what the solution is. Because that's the only logical thing that a person could do. I mean, it's not like they could get a job. It's not like they could educate themselves. It's not like you could do any of this other stuff. No, I believe that people have agency. They clearly have agency. What are you talking about? Just because that you're poor, so it's okay to rob a CVS? What the fuck? This is like the most retarded logic I've ever heard.
I agree.
So yeah, no, being poor isn't an excuse for stealing. Being poor isn't an excuse for killing people. It's not an excuse for being violent. You can't have a world where that is. Like, if that was the way the world worked, everything would be chaos.
Statistically, you turn to crime. It's not a black thing. It's a human thing. Notice.
And then he plays the clip and immediately gets fucking disproven because Asmongold conveniently paused before his entire fucking rant that he just went off of completely gets like owned and debunked. It's honestly hilarious.
How through all that incoherent rambling and shadowboxing that straw man, the moment I say statistically you turn to crime, he had no response?
Yeah, because he wanted to pause it when it was convenient.
Right, because no one said any of that stuff was okay. What was said was, it happens, and here are the contributing factors. The thrust of the argument here is that if these factors are corrected, crime becomes reduced. The more equal a society is, the better the trust equilibrium. Somehow, this failed abortion is twisting my argument into—
Failed abortion? Oh my god.
If you're poor, you should commit crime. The fuck? So this—
Dude, Jesus Christ. Fucking Birdman is like, actually like— You know the fucking fatalities in Mortal Kombat? Birdman is like doing a fatality times 10 in this video. He's like absolutely fucking annihilating Asmongold on like every fucking point. And not a single Asmongold fan is going to be able to actually refute anything Birdman says because again, I've said this throughout the entire video. I'm going to say it again. Asmongold and his audience are all feelings-based. They say what feels good to them. They don't care about facts. They don't want to fact-check anything. They say things that make them feel based. That's what it is. They are all feelings-based. Each and every goddamn one of them.
Is what Joe was trying to communicate. That black Americans face conditions that overwhelmingly correlate with higher crime rates. And that this is—
You listed one condition.
He's listed multiple, and you just refuse to pay attention.
The singular condition of being more poor on average. I think everybody agrees and everybody is on the same page that having less income is going to correlate to being more violent or committing more crimes. I think this is obviously true.
That's literally what Birdman was saying throughout this entire video, but like summarized. Wow, thanks, Aspen. Jesus Christ, the low IQ on this guy is insane.
Everybody knows that.
Are you agreeing with me or not? What the fuck was that? And I most—
This is why, by the way, Birdman should start calling Asmongold this. This is why we call him Asmongoldfish, because he'll say one thing in his video where he's like, oh my god, guys, everybody knows this, and like, and nobody agree, like, you know, he'll say one thing, and then he'll say another thing that completely fucking contradicts what he just said. It's Asmongoldfish live in 4K.
Definitely listed far more than one condition. I know you haven't cleaned your ears since the Clinton administration, but I listed wealth inequality, low educational access, segregation, lack of economic opportunities, over-policing, and poverty. Invest in Q-tips or a leaf blower. due to systemic racism.
Right.
All those factors I just named were racist, and
Yes.
all of them were systemic.
And they are all gone.
Wrong.
That is
We went through and got rid of every single one of those.
absolutely
Wrong.
proved over and over again.
Wrong.
The action
Lining, or the process of systematically denying minority communities access to mortgages, loans, and investment based on their race, helped trap many Black Americans in impoverished and underdeveloped neighborhoods for generations. That is obviously racist. That is
Really? So that's the well then if you even your own Wikipedia article disproves this. Look at this here. As well as Mexican Americans, Southwestern United States, Jewish Americans, and Italian Americans.
Because Jewish and Italian people were not always considered white in America. And also, yeah, just because other people were oppressed in history doesn't mean Black people weren't subjected to it the most. Amazing argument, Asmongold. Good job.
If this is a causal factor for this to happen, you would see those same rates happening with those other groups. No.
But there were laws specifically in place to deny Black people of opportunities. Like, it was, like, done systemically more to Black people than any other race. Did Asmongold just not pay attention to history class or something?
That's not the case. You're literally not even reading the articles you're using.
Zach, that article very clearly says mostly been directed against African Americans. I'm not sure what part of my video suggests that any other groups haven't been marginalized in the US, but this is the second time you're bringing up other groups as if I said they weren't. Quick question. Are Italian Americans currently denied mortgage loans at the rate Black Americans are?
No.
Oh, I know. Let's ask Grok. Wow, it seems like Italians are in the lowest denial category. You know, being white and all, a category they weren't back
I mean, they weren't considered white.
when they were being redlined.
Well, yeah, basically, yeah. So, Birdman literally says this.
Wow.
Like, again, if we existed during the Italian Mafia days, Asmongold would be calling Italian people white N-words. Because, like, that's what was acceptable back then. As you know damn well, as Asmongold's the type of person that would do that.
Times have changed, huh? Well, how about the Jews?
Again, Jewish people were also not considered white. By the way, you may have caught it if you watched my last video, but Asmongold separates Jewish and white people on purpose. He does it like twice in his video. And like a common dog whistle you'll see in white supremacist groups is they'll separate Jewish people from white people because a lot of white supremacists don't think Jewish people are white people and they hate Jewish people.
Damn, looks like they are also approved at loans at a higher rate than Black Americans. And those of you with the red armbands are going to really love that they're being classified as white here. Now here's a tough one.
Well, Asmongold certainly doesn't because he separates Jews from white people.
How about Hispanic Americans? I am so shocked at this outcome. I cannot believe that once again, Black people are treated the worst systemically. I did not see that coming. Here is my shocked face.
Oh my god, he sounds like Captain Kirk. The stuttering.
Irish and Italian started with nothing too, and yet, look at this here. This is Irish and Italian people. Let me go back and pull this up. Oh, wow. Estimated incarceration and commitment rates. So this is it. Between Irish and Italian, there it is. Wow, look at that. Big surprise, huh? Who could have guessed?
Wow, an imager image. What source? Many evidence. You know what's missing from that Microsoft Paint image? The fact that Irish and Italian people are considered white in America. What fucking census in 2000 was collecting data on who was Irish and who was Italian? Because it wasn't this one.
It's crazy how you're using arguments that literally don't even work. Like, your own evidence disproves itself. Like, he starts the video off, and he looks for an AI summary to disprove that he called me racist, and then the AI summary says that he spent the video saying that what I said was racist.
Do you not hear yourself, Zach? You're saying I called you racist by saying that a claim Trump made was a racist claim. How did you escape kindergarten? You should still be there.
Then he's using this, and it says it's not just against people that are Black. This has happened to multiple ethnicities and multiple ethnic groups, but you're talking about one.
Now you're mad that I'm staying on topic? Remind me, Zach, which ethnic group was Joe talking about that you responded to on Twitter? While you're racking your tiny little brain, I have another question.
Bro, I'm telling you, Asmongoldfish, he literally cannot think past like 15 seconds of shit that he says. Like he cannot think that far ahead or behind. Like he has a 15-second buffer on him.
Where in the video did I say only Black Americans faced hardship? Can you provide a timestamp? No, seriously, I'd love evidence for the claims that you are making against me.
If this is a causal factor, then you would assume that this causal factor would also affect the crime rates of these other 4 groups. The same with with income. But that's not the case.
Redlining did affect those groups negatively, but you're forgetting that Black Americans were here longer than those groups and faced systemic issues at a greater magnitude. Italian Americans were recent immigrants from Italy, arriving in America around 1880, 15 years after slavery was abolished. Ignoring...
Yeah, and also, again, the Italians were not always considered white, and then the Italian mafia came to be.
That Italian immigrants formed the prolific American arm of the Italian mafia during this time, this group was not subjected to centuries of racial chattel slavery followed by Jim Crow apartheid, mass disenfranchisement, segregation, lynching campaigns, exclusion from wealth-building institutions, and targeted urban containment on the scale Black Americans experienced. They were very soon absorbed into whiteness, which allowed them to benefit from the New Deal and subsequently accumulate generational wealth. While there were a few Jews in America in the 17th century, the majority of Jewish immigrants arrived in America from Europe around the same time as Italian immigrants. Again, these people were not subjected to the centuries of abuse Black Americans faced in the United States up to that.
Yeah. Jewish gangs did exist, though, but they weren't always considered white, and they weren't subjected to the same level of horrific oppression that Black people experienced back in the day.
That point. Like most European immigrants arriving in the late 19th century, Jews and other Europeans did not face economic penalties due to their occupation and advanced at the same rate as white Americans. So once again, the evidence is kicking your ass. Yes, it is true that other groups faced hardship in the United States, but no group got it as bad and continues to be marginalized like the Black American. This is a fact. Cope, you dumb bitch. Here, get owned by Grok again, clown. African American
My God.
Suffered the worst from redlining. Boom, headshot by your own source. Long-term outcomes. Redlining contributes to the persistent racial wealth gap. Blam, gaped by your own source. Comparison to other groups. Latinos, historical targeting was secondary to Black Americans. Asians, focused less on them as a primary risk factor compared to Black people. Native Americans, redlining was less central to their urban experience. Now listen up because this one's important for you. Jews and Italians. Some neighborhoods with immigrants were downgraded, but they assimilated into white categories over time and gained access to suburban loans as Black exclusion intensified. Kablam. Epsteined by your own source.
Epstein by your own source. Well, Asmongold would enjoy that, considering he defends Donald Trump being on the Epstein files, and he sweeps for Donald Trump doing that shit. Same for Tectone, by the way. We recently saw that Tectone was also sweeping for Donald Trump being on the Epstein files. By the way, funny shit, guys. Tectone blocked me on Twitter recently because I retweeted him. Basically, Tectone was like saying, "You're stupid if you think Donald Trump's a pedophile." And then I quote retweeted it basically saying, "Hey, Tectone, a rapist who was convicted in a civil case for raping and stalking his ex-girlfriend and being a total threat to her. He has a 10-year protective order on him. He can't own a gun for 10 years. It's no wonder someone like him is defending who is most likely a pedophile. Donald Trump won't release the Epstein client list from being a rapist." They gotta stick in flocks, guys. It's crazy how rape is so accepted in right-wing spaces.
A lot of was.
The main way a family in the United States builds wealth is through real estate. If you own a home, you generally pass that home down to your children, and since your children are now not required to use the majority of their income for housing, they are able to save, invest, pursue education, start businesses, and accumulate wealth.
Black people don't own homes. Only white people have homes. This you might not have known this. This is a surprise.
This is when you know he's getting owned. Just making up things because he can't bear to allow facts to disrupt his narrative.
Yeah, Irish and Italian Americans didn't have a house either. Yeah, like, what do you, like, this isn't even, like, it's such bullshit. Okay, anyway, let's keep going.
Wealth. If you routinely deny Black families the opportunity to own valuable real estate, you rob them of the opportunity to create generational wealth.
What is the...
This is actually a good argument, and I think that really the best way to approach this argument and this problem, I do think that there's a huge generational wealth gap between white and also Black families, and it has been caused by a degree of, like, residuals from racism. So he is identifying the problem, and that is correct, but the solution that I have is different than the solution that he has. So the reason why I think that something like DEI or affirmative action is bad...
I haven't once given a solution, according to Oh, that's actually an interesting point. Birdman never actually gave a solution to the problem, so Asmongold is just making up the fact that Birdman has a solution to the problem. That's actually a good point. It kind of goes to show that Asmongold just says things. He doesn't really like, is he even paying attention to the actual video? He's just like a fucking Grok MAGA AI machine. He's like not paying attention to anything that he's like watching.
is because it's not actually addressing the problem. It's addressing a corollary, which is the corollary.
Bro, Asmongold just says things. He just says it. I don't even think Asmongold understands what he is saying himself. Do you think any of Asmongold's fans understand what he's saying?
But the problem is actually income. So I'm totally in support of things like, giving people more student aid if they don't have as much money. But it should be done on the basis of means, not on the basis of race.
We do that already. What are you talking about? We already do that. You support Donald Trump, who is trying to make it not like that. What are you talking about?
And when you follow that logic through to its conclusion, it lines up ethnically. Those who have the worst means will statistically be black. You are arguing for those programs and don't realize it. You're attempting to solve a problem that was already being addressed, except you're too allergic to the word race to recognize you just reinvented affirmative action and DEI. This is Obamacare all over again. Conservatives spent years screaming about it like it was some radical communist takeover, only for people to later realize large parts of it were built on ideas Republicans themselves had already supported. Zach is doing the same thing here, rejecting race-conscious policy on ideological grounds, then accidentally recreating those same systems through class analysis because the material conditions keep pointing him back to the same conclusion, that black people are the lower class. I said that earlier, and this dumbass thought Obama becoming the president refuted that. This shit is like watching a fly trying to fly out of an open door.
And again, the only people that would disagree with this are literal racists, because the goal there isn't to be in any sort of a beneficial position for being white or black. White Americans aren't even a top earner ethnically in the U.S. Yeah, and this is also another factor too, is that, like, I don't know if you guys have seen this as well, but take a look at this.
Oh yeah, by the way, like, he pulls up this like weird statistic as well, which is for median household only. Median household income. I don't know if Asmongold fails to mention that. And a majority of the Americans he pulls up here, Taiwanese, Filipino, Sri Lankan, Japanese, Chinese, like, these are all Asian Americans. Pakistani as well. These are all Asian Americans that he pulled up. Like, Asian Americans span to all of these different countries, yet they're counted differently. But white Americans are counted for the same thing.
Americans, Filipino Americans, Taiwanese Americans. White Americans are all the way down here at $59,000 for median household income. So are these people that are up at the top committing all of these crimes, or are these people doing that? No, I don't think so.
Another piece of evidence that he pre-watched at least half of my video and isn't doing a genuine reaction with this already ready Reddit post that refutes nothing. I don't know why white supremacists try using Asians to explain away the fact that white Americans hoard the majority of the wealth in this country. Those groups in the screenshot that are above white Americans are typically immigrants or descendants of immigrants from the upper class in their home country and were wealthy enough to immigrate to the United States. They are often disproportionately educated, financially stable, connected, or upwardly mobile before they even arrive. It's a self-selecting bias. In each one of those countries, the median household income is significantly lower. Indian Americans average $100,000 in America, but the median household income in urban India is 200,000 to 500,000 rupees. That's $2,000 to $5,000 a year. This example alone proves a selection bias, that those who are even able to immigrate to the United States will be highly educated, highly qualified, and statistically far wealthier than the people in their home country. In other words, those people are starting the race way out in front.
So I have no problem with acknowledging that black people will be more disproportionately affected by programs that help people because of income, but I don't think those—
It's so weird that Asmongold brings this up, because he spends the entire video trying to argue that systemic and systematic racism is not a thing and it doesn't exist, and that, oh, we got rid of it. Like, it's so weird that now Asmongold is like doing a 180. Again, Asmongoldfish. He just says things. Asmongoldfish. He forgets shit. He cannot think past 15 seconds of this dumbass shit that he's fucking saying.
This program should be done and decided based off of race. If the problem is that these people were denied generational wealth, then the way that you should solve that problem shouldn't be based off of race. It should be based off of wealth. But that's not what they want to do. It's because they don't care about that. They care about figuring out some sort of racist way. And this is the problem, is that this is why I think I trigger a lot of these people, is because I'm one of the only people that actually isn't racist.
Yeah, the Daily Wire doesn't exist. Charlie Kirk didn't exist. I say didn't exist in past tense because, well, you know, fucking Nick Fuentes, Alex Jones, Sam Hyde. None of these people exist, apparently. I'm the only one that's ever talking about it. Tectone as well is another one.
Sorry. Please continue, Zach.
I'm one of the only people that actually isn't racist.
Wow. Incredible. This is also a bit of a self-report. You're like, I'm one of the only people that talks about this in a non-racist way. So are you self-reporting that Nick Fuentes and the people around you and your orbiters are racist people? Is that a bit of a self-report in your narrative?
I'm one of the only people that actually isn't racist. Because I'm one of the only people that actually isn't racist. I'm looking at this objectively. I say, yes, you're correct that black people have been disproportionately affected by this. Let's try to correct that. Okay, so the problem is that people weren't able to get money. All right, well, a lot of people don't have money. Why don't we make a thing to where people that don't have money are able to get money, and it'll help black people disproportionately? That's the way a logical, reasonable, empathetic person would solve problems. But they don't want to do that because they don't have they don't care about equality. They care about talking shit and being racist.
Talking shit and being racist.
The levels of delusion pouring out of this guy's mouth is just baffling. Once again, he's reinventing systems that already exist. Those systems are not racist. They literally do what he's suggesting they do: help those without the means. It just so happens that this is typically black people. I mean, the fucking idiot just showed the median household income of black Americans was $30-some-odd thousand, literally in last place on his list. Hello, if you use these systems to help out those with the worst financial situations, it would be black, then Hispanic, then everyone else. This guy is trying to invent the fork in 2026.
It's also funny. Like, he thought that his, like, him showing this would be, like, a big own that white people are being disenfranchised, but Asmongold, like, it is very interesting. He spends the entire video, like, I didn't even catch that the first time. He spends the entire video trying to say that black people have not been oppressed at all, and that, like, oh, we got rid of that oppression, and then you look at black Americans being the lowest. So, like, the proof that he showed literally just dismantled his own fucking argument. It doesn't get any funnier than that. Again, the fact that people take Asmongold's take as the gospel and they're like, oh my god, based, you're validating my feelings because I'm a teeth-rotted white supremacist that's terminally online and never leaves his house. Like, the fact that people take this guy seriously, unironically, blows my fucking mind. It's insane that people genuinely think Asmongold is, like, a good guy, or, like, his opinions are good.
Wealth gap, and why is everyone talking about it? The racial wealth gap is a measure of wealth inequality between racial groups in the US. Here's a prime example. Black families make up 14% of the population but own only 5% of American wealth, while white households make up 65% of the population but control 80% of the wealth. The gap traces back to the 1863 emancipation.
This argument can also be immediately refuted whenever you look at different groups that are outside of white people that control, because, like, you know, you look at 7%, it was like 80% or something like that. There's like a missing 15% there.
The video gets their information from the United States Census Bureau, where on that site they show that white Americans control 80% of the wealth in the country, and black Americans only make up about 5%. The 15% gap is other groups, mainly Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Native Americans. On this chart, you can see the insane disparity between the ethnic groups, and how even Asian Americans who have a higher overall median household income are dwarfed by the wealth disparity. There is no conspiracy here. White people disproportionately control the wealth of this country, and that 15% gap is simply the other non-black groups combined.
Proclamation, which led to freedom for almost 4 million black Americans.
A lot of people.
By 1860, their labor accounted for 60%.
That's too many black people for my liking, guys.
Of U.S. exports, $200 million a year, but black Americans received nothing.
Labor is not a necessary...
Yeah, guys, by the way, you may notice it throughout this video, I don't really have that much commentary to give on a lot of the stuff that Asmongold is saying here, and, like, kind of like on Birdman, on some of the stuff that he is saying, because I've already addressed a lot of this in my previous reaction. Like, it's kind of just the same old, same old. Like, I'm probably still going to react to this entirety. Like, what? We have 35 minutes left in this video. So, like, I'm going to finish this reaction. Like, we've already made it so far into this video. Like, what? We watched, like, 65% of this video. So, like, I'm still going to finish it. But it's, like, I don't know, man. I just don't really have a lot to say. Like, I feel like I've said everything that I needed to about this Asmongold Birdman saga. Like, once we move on to the next topic, I think that'll be... Like, that's going to be the only time I ever talk about this again. Like, after this video, I think this particular, I guess, bracket of Asmongold and Birdman, like, I think I'm done reacting to this bracket of their beef. You know what I mean? Like, after this video. Like, I know Birdman had, like, a separate video after this. I just don't think I'm going to watch it. A lot of it is just the same old, same old. I really just, like, I don't know. I don't really think we need to.
Like, it is not a one-to-one value creator. Just because you work very hard or you do something doesn't necessarily mean that that has the same value as what it's creating for that company. This is like just more commie slop.
Asmongold just said that black slaves who significantly contributed to the wealth of the United States and received zero compensation for that labor is commie slop. It's just buzzwords at this point. He doesn't know what communism or slop means. Apparently, it's communism to expect payment for one's labor.
It's interesting because a lot of Asmongold's audience dismisses the left for using too many buzzwords, and then you have Asmongold using buzzwords and they say literally nothing about that.
This guy's a fucking idiot.
Conversely, if you don't have access to homeownership, you don't have access to that type of equity and that cushion that you could get from having money saved from homeownership.
Housing discrimination allows banks
Well, and yeah, I mean, this isn't even an argument. I mean, I think housing discrimination is removed, right? I mean, they got rid of that. I mean, I'm sure like maybe somewhere in like, you know, again, Mississippi, there might be something like that, which is obviously bad. But in a general sense, that this is removed. They got rid of this. Obviously, they got rid of this.
Surprise, surprise, Asmongold does not know what he's talking about. Discrimination in housing is still a thing. It has quite literally never gone away. These types of racial injustices just change name and change form. The slave patrols became the police. The black codes became voter suppression. Racial covenants became the modern HOA. Do you notice that black people have a contentious relationship with every single concept I just named? You think that's by accident? That black people are just making shit up? The problem with people like Asmongold is that they point to the old name or old form and go, see, that thing we called by this particular name no longer exists. Therefore, the underlying issue no longer exists. It's one of the most insidious forms of reactionary apologism because it allows people to sanitize current systems of discrimination by pretending that because the branding changed, the discrimination magically disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, like, are we really surprised, though? Genuinely? Like, Asmongold, this is the same guy that defends Trump for being on the Epstein list. Like, this is the same guy who's a rape apologist. He said he knew more about Tectone's case behind the scenes before the court documents came out. Damning court documents, I would say, revealing that Tectone had horrifically raped and stalked his ex-girlfriend and was, like, abusing a power dynamic, saying that, like, if she does sex acts for him, that he would pay all the rent for her and stuff. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And Asmongold was, like, literally, like, running defense for it. Asmongold does not care about rape or pedophilia at all. He shits his pants at a black person wanting to exist in America, but will not fucking bat an eye at Trump being a rapist pedophile. It is insane.
Isn't it amazing how these people turn into fucking forensic scientists when looking into a program designed to level the playing field and deduce that it's racist against white people, but look at the insane racial wealth gaps and conclude, nope, everything's fine. Yeah, that's white supremacy, guy. Anyway, to save time, we're going to fast forward through this rambling session as he just reacts to the video on housing. He's not responding to me in particular. He's just repeating himself and saying that redlining happened to other groups and that people are whining at white people for no reason.
Yeah.
This is the...
It's boring. It's just, like, boring listening to Asmongold talk because, like, he's made it abundantly clear that he does not like black people.
United States Treasury website literally admitting one of the factors for this gap is due to the United States government. They are admitting their policies stifled black home ownership.
It is
systemic. I don't get it. I don't get it. He spent this entire video trying to say that that didn't happen. Again, Asmongoldfish.
Racism.
Yes. And now we fixed it.
We fixed systemic racism, everyone. You know, because Steam Train Maury here said so. Now, back to Zach's dumbass tweet. The first fucking line from this...
Which, by the way, is completely nothing about what I said. This has nothing to do with it at all.
It's just, okay. He's clearly, like, he's just saying... He just says things. We have to understand, like, Asmongold just says things. He doesn't actually, like... There's no brain power on, like, remotely anything. It's like, there's a whole video you reacted to explaining the history behind why black people do not benefit from systematic racism. Birdman gave you a whole history lesson, and you're saying it doesn't refute. It's like, okay, if you genuinely think that, Asmongold, if you unironically think that, you're an idiot. And I don't know how to be nice about it. You are unironically a fucking moron, if that's what you think.
Is that black people benefit from systemic racism.
Correct.
Now, I know what Zach is trying to say here, that through policies like affirmative action, black people benefit, and that because affirmative action is a governmental policy, that is systemic. The problem with this line of logic is that it's not racism.
Okay, that means that... oh my God. Whatever you want to call it, it's bad. Like, I don't know, you want to say it's prejudice, you want to say that it's bias, you want to say that it's unfair. Whatever you want to call it, it's still going to be bad.
All of those words mean different things, Zach. For example, you can be prejudiced against women but not racist against Hispanic men. You can be biased against Asian food but not racist towards Asian people. Words mean things. Also, this is the problem with pausing the video when you lose control of your impulses. I'm going to explain what I'm talking about immediately after this, you simpleton. That's why the red button is on the screen. Notice how in that image you're shutting up and listening? Yeah, be like that, Asmongold, and shut your stinking ass mouth. You've turned a 16-minute video into an hour-long cope session precisely because you're like a child in the backseat of a road trip. Shut up.
He's dancing around terminology? Yes, obviously.
Yes, affirmative action effectively produced outcomes where an equally qualified white man could be disqualified for an equally qualified black man. But
that's racist!
Oh my God, shut the fuck up, you harebrained idiot. We will be skipping his reaction because holy shit, I have to force him to let me speak at this point. This process also held that an equally qualified white woman would be chosen over an equally qualified black man. In fact, white women...
It's not racist.
Yeah, white women benefited also from DEI as well, right?
Men were the large...
Yeah, so like Asmongold's whole like fucking rant here is just like pointless.
...just beneficiaries of DEI and affirmative action policies. It's starting to dawn on him, everybody. It's almost like I was still talking, and pausing before I can finish a thought prevents me from being able to explain what I'm talking about, and that I might answer a question you may have before you make yourself look like a buffoon.
So because white women were beneficiaries of DEI, it doesn't mean that DEI was racist?
Yes, you stupid fuck, because if it benefits every
Again, racism to Asmongold is a dog whistle to say that white people are being oppressed by black people, basically. That's what he means when he says racism. It's obviously not a real thing. There's not a story where a white person is disenfranchised because of a black person at all in any meaningful way. You cannot pull up a single example of that happening at all. It's not a real thing at all. It's just, it's a victim complex. Asmongold has a victim complex.
Group, it is not racist. But
it's also surprising that Asmongold hates black people so much when he never leaves his house. He's never going to have to interact with a black person ever again for the rest of his life. He never leaves his house.
By definition, your tweet said it was racist. I am responding to your tweet. We have finally got to the part of my video where I am directly responding to you. You have spent over 30 minutes saying I haven't responded to you, and the second you come across my actual response to you, you look like a skull wearing a beard, utterly speechless as your own stupidity dawns on you. You are watching a video essay, not a person speaking off the cuff during a live stream. Who knew it was a dumb idea to randomly pause during a video essay where the essayist purposefully places visual aids in the video that lets you know when it's safe to pause? Notice how your face is currently matching the red button? Exactly.
What is this here? Can I find this? That's not even an argument.
Again, he pre-watched this video and he's pretending that a fan of his sent this to him at a convenient timestamp, which he obviously set up before he watched this video, because again, he pre-watched this video.
What is this? Primarily, you know, like, again, do you want to know who the biggest beneficiaries of DEI are? It's not black people. 8 months ago. It's white women. Those are the ones that are really winning out of DEI. They're the ones that are actually getting hired because of these processes. Yeah, it's fucking Karens. That's it.
Oh, I love this. The guy that doesn't know the difference between average and median is once again acting smug in a situation where he's owning himself. If you know that white women are the biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action and DEI, how is it possible that you tweeted it was racist? Racist against which race? Because here you are admitting it benefits white people. Are white women not white people anymore? We know it benefits Asian, Black, and Hispanic people.
Well, Asmongold doesn't care about white women. He thinks that they're all Karens. Like, Asmongold is a incel that thinks that America should be a white Christian nation and men should have more power over women. Like, he's a total loser scumbag.
So who is it racist towards? You've refuted your own argument, you dimwit.
We know this. Everybody knows this.
Do they?
Everybody knows this, guys. You all are stupid if you have an opinion that isn't mine.
Because I don't think he knows this.
Saying that white women benefit from it too, so it can't be racist, is crazy.
No, saying something that benefits all ethnic groups is racist is crazy. You're just changing the definition of racism at this point to arbitrarily fit whatever argument you're trying to make. There is no logic to what you are saying. You have lost here.
It's both sexist and racist.
Now he's changing the definition of sexism. This man is high on copium and trying his damnness to play off this utter defeat. You can see the gears turning in his head as he scrambles, trying to come up with a way of changing the narrative. I love to see you people squirm. So by definition and by practice, affirmative action
even with the parameters of an own argument, he's wrong about two things at the same time. Yep.
A systemically racist policy because all ethnic groups benefited from that policy and it disproportionately affected gender. So it is a
All
lie.
ethnic groups benefited from it and it disproportionately affected gender. Yes, it did affect gender as well. But actually, definitely white men did not benefit from it, number one. And also, just because it benefits gender doesn't mean that it also benefits ethnic groups. And it also did create a tier list. And if that wasn't the case, then you wouldn't see the medical school acceptance rates be so different.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, I already addressed this point. Basically, Asmongold pulls up like a statistic trying to prove that like fucking Asian people and white people are not as accepted as black people, but that's a per capita statistic, which is a little bit disingenuous. The statistic itself is not misleading, but it's like, you know, Asmongold is extrapolating all the incorrect information from it because it's per capita. If less black people are applying to these like medical schools and the acceptance rate is still fairly high for them, then it's still going to be like, obviously their statistic is going to be like almost artificially higher in a sense. Does that make sense?
Scrambled eggs. Notice how fast he's talking? He's panicking, trying to say anything that he thinks will save his narrative. Verbal diarrhea, a classic sign of someone who is nervous and embarrassed. This is precisely what he was trying to avoid by not responding to my last video, because I embarrassed him for much longer than 16 minutes.
Think about that.
That affirmative action was racist.
Yeah.
The best you
Not was, is. It is racist. Because there are some instances of them continuing to do it now, which I think need to be shut down by the government.
It's crazy that Asmongold is more outraged by DEI and affirmative action than a pedophile president in office. That's insane to me. That's still fucking nuts to me.
Argue here is that it is somewhat discriminatory towards white men and white men specifically, because it literally benefits every single other group. And even then, that would be a lie, as affirmative action includes mandates for hiring veterans and people with disabilities. Both groups...
This is intentionally misunderstanding.
Oh, I agree, Zach. I agree. So no, affirmative action and DEI are not a form of systemic racism. And no, black people and other minority groups do not enjoy preferential treatment at the expense of white and Asian people.
They absolutely do. They overwhelmingly do, and it's obvious. This is the reason why you have the medical school acceptance rates. This is the reason why there are so many opportunities.
I wonder if Birdman's going to bring up, like, the disingenuous point of Asmongold, like, bringing up that medical statistic rate or whatever. I covered it more in depth in the previous video, but, like, I wonder if Birdman's going to go into that.
That are presented for people that are black.
You keep repeating.
Kind of, he almost is, like, gish galloping a little bit. He's, like, really panicking here.
Yourself there, Zach. You've mentioned medical school at least twice, and this video does touch on school acceptance rates, but you predictably paused during a section where you shouldn't have. And we are all noticing a distinct lack of you providing any evidence for the claim you are making. You had ready-made URLs earlier. We're the ones proving that black people benefit at the expense of Asian people. We're waiting.
Like, if you look at how many advocacy groups and how many foundations are set up to benefit black people versus white people on the basis of their skin color.
You are not describing affirmative action, you Nimrod. You are talking about advocacy groups for marginalized people. Affirmative action is a corrective concept meant to even the playing field in hiring practices and school admissions. A group that focuses on the issues of a historically marginalized community is not affirmative action. You are talking out of your ass, and no one can tell because it stinks either way.
Okay. I guess no one really can tell the difference between the smell of really rotten ass and really rotten teeth when it comes from Asmongold.
So,
bro, I swear to God, the CDC will discover a new fucking disease from Asmongold's house. How much you want to bet? They're going to discover like 5 new variants of a disease. We're going to get like a new COVID variant from Asmongold's house.
That this isn't true is to just actively deny reality. I think that a lot of people don't like saying what I'm saying because people are afraid that like people say that you're racist for saying this.
No, people just don't want to sound dumb. What you are saying is dumb. You said a program that benefits both men and women is sexist, and that programs that specifically help marginalized communities are racist. Recognize that your position is unpopular not due to people being afraid, but because you are a moron shouting conspiracy theories while living in a cesspit. You are incredibly lucky the internet exists, because if this were 1996, you'd be standing on a soapbox by the train yard. You are a conspiracy theorist and a bigoted piece of shit. No one in their right minds wants to be associated with you or the things you believe and say.
Except, like, very terminally online Twitter-rotted people. Those are, like, the only people that I could see, like, watching Asmongold, or, like super MAGA people. Like, no one with any level of intelligence, like, actually, like, cares or takes anything Asmongold says seriously.
But, in fact, I'm one of the only people that isn't racist.
Wow. Nick Fuentes doesn't exist, guys. You know, guys, I haven't associated with Nick Fuentes yet. That means he hasn't existed. Even though I said that I wanted to do a collab, I've said it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when in regards to collabing with Nick Fuentes.
I think that everybody should be given a fair chance, and that also means that if you fail your fair chance, you lost fair and square.
That is literally what Birdman has been saying in his entire fucking video, but condensed. Like, have you just not been paying attention to anything Birdman is saying in his video? Brother? So you agree with Birdman?
And the problem is that if you look at these different graphs, you can clearly see that there is a bias that's being set for race.
Okay, dude.
There's a bias that's being set for ethnicity. And the moment that you start grading on a curve based off of ethnicity is the moment that you are literally institutionalizing and creating systematic racism. Just because the racism benefits you doesn't...
Source for this, Asmongold? Source?
Make it not racism.
Yeah, you want to show some proof for that, or are you just going to say things to make your audience feel good?
Just means that it's benefiting you, so you want to pretend like it's not happening.
Just because the racism benefits you doesn't make it not racism. It just means that it's benefiting you, so you want to pretend like it's not happening.
Are you unaware that Asians are a minority group in the United States too?
Exactly. So why is the crime rate so much different?
It's interesting because not a single Asian person like complains about being disenfranchised by black people in universities, like in medical schools. Not a single one. Curious how that works.
Because Asian people are recent immigrants to the United States and were not subjected to the scope of marginalization that black Americans were. The people that arrived here tended to be more educated, better off financially, and established in their career path upon arrival. The general pattern of first-generation immigrants is that they commit lower rates of crime than native-born members of the same ethnic group, as native-born second and on generations commit crime at higher rates than those of the first generation. In comparison to black Americans, these groups weren't forced to live in ghettos, denied loans for businesses and homes, or had laws on the books specifically targeting them the way that black people did. Asian people 100% faced and continue to face hardship in America, but we are talking about completely different magnitudes.
It's interesting because, like, you have the fucking people that, like, black people who were denied loans and they couldn't even get the opportunities to have loans. But then you have fucking billionaires who take out loans against their net worth and they don't fucking pay their taxes whatsoever. And you don't see Asmongold shedding a fucking tear about it or even talking about that. Billionaires are so much more of a threat than any of these marginalized groups, and Asmongold literally says nothing about it. You know, Trump is constantly fucking frauding people and frauding businesses with his billion-dollar fucking meme coin.
Answer to your question is that Asians are simply treated better than black people in America, and they always have been. But can you explain the crime rate of white people, Zach? Why are Asians better than you in this regard? You never faced the levels of historic marginalization of black people. You weren't forcibly taken from Europe and brought here to work against your will. You weren't terrorized in the streets and denied property and liberty. And yet, you're the leader in nearly every single category in crime in this country. Why are white people committing all that crime? Are you bored? You just looking for something to do? At least black people have the excuse of being treated like shit. What's yours? And don't give me the excuse that you're the majority in this country, so you should be leading in crime. Japan and Korea are nearly homogenous, and those people still commit significantly less crime than white Americans.
And same for a lot of countries in the Middle East. They have some of the lowest crime rate in the entire world. Though you could technically make the argument that a lot of the punishments for those crimes, like in the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, you can make an argument that the punishments for those crimes are so fucking severe that nobody wants to take the risk. It's a whole debate. Is it? I guess technically it's effective at getting rid of the crime rate. You know, if you have disproportionate as fuck punishments for those crimes, nobody's going to want to commit them. You know, at what cost, right?
China has 7.
How far is too far?
Times the population of white America and still has a lower crime rate than white Americans. You see, you are the anomaly. You've historically had all the advantages, live in the best neighborhoods, control 80% of the wealth, are in control of nearly every major institution in this country. And yet white Americans have homicide rates close to countries like Argentina, Uruguay, or parts of Eastern Europe. What's your excuse? Why can't you be more like Asians? Why would you group those two together, Zach? Are you
because Asians, yeah.
Referring to the ridiculous Supreme Court ruling students...
Ridiculous Supreme Court...
versus Harvard?
What?
Setting that aside for the moment.
Look at the graph. That's insane. Look at this graph. Oh my God.
Oh my God. 4 whole years. What Zach is doing here is pretending history began in 2013. Black Americans were massively underrepresented in medicine for most of modern American history due to segregation and exclusion from medical schools and the destruction of black medical institutions after the Flexner Report.
That's also a good point, like, because it was a statistic from 2013. So, like, in a weird way, it could be, like, disingenuous by saying, you know, black people have never been oppressed in history or whatever. Look what they're doing right now. Yeah, in history, it wasn't always like that.
Abraham Flexner got all but 2 black medical schools shut down, setting black American medical students back decades. By the 1950s, major medical schools literally had little to no black students at all. So when affirmative action and diversity initiatives began ramping up in the latter half of the 20th century, they were responding to a historical reality where black Americans had been systematically locked out of the profession for generations. The source of Zach's image is the Association of American Medical Colleges. Here's their website. On their site, they have a pie chart demonstrating the demographics of all active physicians by race or ethnicity. Black Americans make up 5% of this chart, the lowest of the groups on Zach's graph. They also show that black matriculants, or first-year enrollees, make up less than 3% as per the latest data. So what Zach is doing is trying to shock you by showing you a scary graph with no context. Black medical students are severely underrepresented, and affirmative action initiatives are seeking to correct a historical imbalance.
Again, the graph is per capita. So if not as many black people are applying, the acceptance rate is naturally going to be like higher.
That was created due to
again, this is what affirmative action is supposed to do effectively. Yes, you could make an argument that it's a band-aid fix, but the idea is to get them back to where they should be normally in society.
Racism. His graph isn't even illustrating what he's trying to communicate. This graph is showing how each subgroup matches up within their own subgroup. For example, if we look at the group on the right, it's saying that 94% of all applicants with those MCAT scores and GPAs got accepted. Do you notice how these numbers don't add up to 100? Right, because this is acceptance rate within a subgroup, not the amount of people that got accepted. If 100 black applicants applied and there's a 94% acceptance rate within that subgroup, that's 94 students. However, if 400 white students applied and there's a 63% acceptance rate within that subgroup, that's 252 students. That's what this graph is showing, the acceptance rate within a subgroup. The reason the black acceptance rate within its subgroup is higher is because the total number of black applicants is lower. Here is the data from one of the years represented in Zach's graph. This table is showing the number of black applicants total. As you can see, Howard University got the most black medical student applicants that year with 89 applicants. When we look at white students of that same year, the University of Michigan at Ann Arbor got the most applicants with 485 applicants. When we look at Asian students, UCLA got the most applicants with 430 applicants. If we go back to Zach's graph and assume these applicants fit the criteria of those on the right, this would mean there were 84 black students, 306 white students, and 250 Asian students. Do you now understand how Zach is...
Yeah, this is basically what I just said, by the way. Like, Birdman explained it much better than I did, but yeah, it's essentially what I've been saying. Also, I am going to speed this up a little bit higher, because like I said, I'm not giving a lot of commentary to this, you know what I mean? Like, it just feels like, again, a lot of this is the same old that we've been rehashing, so I just don't really have a lot I could say. I feel like I've already said it in my previous video.
Misleading you with the usage of this graph? And this is on top of the fact that when you actually look at where black students applied, they tended to be HBCUs and schools in the southern United States, not schools that were appealing to Asians, who generally preferred schools in my home state of California. These two groups are not in conflict. And finally, if we look at the current data, there is a slight bump in the number of black and Asian applicants, but overall, the trend remains steady. Zach does not know what he's talking about, and he's hoping that you won't notice that with his theatrics.
Look at the graph. That's insane. Look at this graph. Oh my God. 56.
Oh my God, guys. Black people are going after us. Oh my God, guys.
Versus 6 and 8%. The reason why I include Asians is because Asians are the only other minority group that get both ends of the shit stick. Not only were they put in internment camps if you were Japanese in World War II, but on top of that, now you're being...
Which, by the way, is not in America, Zach. So this really, like, this point does not matter. Like, you're not fucking... like, it's just pointless to bring this up because it doesn't address Birdman's argument at all.
Being systematically disenfranchised in college because you're doing too well. No, that's the reason why I'm including them. It's because it's bullshit. It's bullshit for them. And also, a lot of the things that are happening for white people are not only happening to white people, that they're worse for Asians. There's the chart right there. But it's the Supreme Court ruling is ridiculous. Oh, of course. So now let's get into how all the courts are rigged. Oh my God. Ta-da!
What other areas are black and Hispanic people benefiting at the expense of Asian people, besides the overstated college admissions issue?
Overstated.
And then he just doesn't answer the question. He just, like, shows a graph that, like, doesn't actually prove anything. He just refuses to fucking engage with the question that Birdman proposed.
This is overstated, guys. It's overstated.
Ta-da! Give examples. I'm sure everyone would like to hear them, Zach. And please, be very specific.
Is this it? Where the areas of black and Hispanic people benefiting at the expense of Asian people? There's that one. College is massive.
Exactly. He had literally 0 examples besides college. I asked him to provide a single other example, and he couldn't do it. Mainly because he doesn't actually give a fuck about Asian people and is performing here, but also due to the fact that there aren't any other examples, and that affirmative action is beneficial to Asian people, something they, with the exception of the Chinese, agree with. I just proved again that the college admissions issue is overstated and overblown. So now
it's crazy because I can tell Birdman put a lot of effort into this video, and like you can show Asmongold fans facts and everything, and like he has done a very good job of just systematically fucking just like plowing through Asmongold's ass, basically. Like he has systematically destroyed Asmongold in like every regard. But like Asmongold fans probably didn't even watch this video. They just dislike bombed it because they are feelings based. Asmongold makes them feel good, and when that victim complex that they have is attacked, they have to defend it no matter what. Even if the facts are shown right in front of their face. They don't care. Asmongold's fans do not care about facts. We have to understand this. They are not facts-based in any meaningful way.
This talking point is thoroughly debunked. Where are Black and Hispanic people benefiting at the expense of Asians? Remember, I am responding to this tweet where that's exactly what he said. If he cannot provide another example, this is proof that he doesn't care about Asians and is simply weaponizing them against other minority groups. We currently have a compromised Supreme Court that is doing its damnedest.
The Supreme Court is compromised. They're making all the bad rulings. So
that is just a fact, Asmongold. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Trump has stacked the Supreme Court. There's a Supreme Court judge that is trying to overturn gay marriage. Like, it is just a fact that we have a rigged Supreme Court. Yes.
So basically, it's either you're right or they're scamming.
There's a third option, Toothless. How about the Supreme Court should be fair? That since they didn't get voted in by the American public, they shouldn't be partisan. It's all fun and games when the courts and government are full of people on your side, but when the rabbit gets the gun, you will be right back here saying exactly what I am. Play fair. Treat every citizen and potential citizen equally under the law, and to not rule based on party lines. The Supreme Court is currently not abiding by that, and it's obvious to anyone that's paying attention. And for those of you who aren't paying attention, let's see what Zach's old pal Grok had to say. Wow, would you look at that? Yes, the data supports that the Supreme Court has shifted right since Trump's appointments. It's almost like I live in reality and Zach lives in filth.
So this is, yes, and finally the Supreme Court...
Well, I mean, he lives in an echo chamber. Like, Asmongold's chat is an echo chamber of, like, far-right MAGA freaks.
It's making the right decisions. Conspiracy
implement
theories.
Overwhelming.
Oh my god, they're all making the right decisions because they're making decisions that I like and that I jerk off to.
Conservative policies and rulings, and these rulings almost always come at the expense of Black Americans.
Yeah, that's because there's a lot of institutional racial advantages that Black Americans have that they shouldn't have. Things like affirmative action, DEI, preferential hiring processes, all of those things should be deleted.
He just named the same thing 3 times. Are there others? Will he provide any evidence? Is that t-shirt clean? Find out next time on Hobo Stream Z.
Hobo Stream Z.
If they're
incredible stuff.
There are no racial differences, then we should approach the problems like that by looking at commonalities that affect all groups of people, such as income.
Oh, we already do that. What is he talking about? Oh my god, he is so dumb. He is such an idiot. We already do that.
Come on, Zach. You're contradicting yourself here. You do believe that there are innate racial differences, or at least that's what you said. So if there are differences, your argument fails. You either accept that there are no racial differences and drop your Somalis or low IQ talking point, or there are racial differences and we have to keep affirmative action. You see, this is the problem with a guy who stands for nothing. His position flip-flops based on when he's talking. Months ago, he argued that white women benefit from affirmative action, and today he's saying it's racist. Months ago, he argued that Somalis inherently have a lower IQ, and today he's saying that because there are no racial differences, we should get rid of affirmative action and policies that seek to correct historical marginalization. This is a telltale sign of a grifter. The wind is blowing a different way, and so are Asmongold's talking points.
We don't have slavery anymore. We don't have Jim Crow anymore. We don't have segregation anymore. No matter how much people want to cosplay on Twitter thinking that they're, still in the Underground Railroad or something, we're not even anywhere near that at all.
R. Kelly'd by his own source is fucking insane, Birdman. That is insane that you just made that joke. Well, I guess maybe Asmongold got pissed on by the wrong source, it seems.
These things have any...
Asmongold's piss would be like fucking Xenomorph's liquid. It's corrosive as fuck and it would burn through shit.
Thing to do with current day.
It's like hydrofluoric acid when Asmongold pisses.
It's income. So now you're malding about the Supreme Court case. Okay, got it.
Hinged on the idea that American institutions like
He really thinks he's being cute here.
Harvard already operate on a level playing field, which we know they don't.
Yes.
At Harvard specifically, there are legacy admissions, donor preferences, networking advantages, and wealth inheritance that disproportionately benefit white students.
Okay, they should get rid of that.
I agree. Is there a butt coming? There's a butt coming, isn't there?
And also, like, disproportionately benefiting white students, that doesn't make it bad.
Dude, It's insane. He spent this entire video about how, oh my god, black people got, like, so many fucking benefits. Like, if that clip right there doesn't prove that Asmongold is racist, I don't know what does. Like, genuinely. He thinks it's bad when black people get an advantage to something, but the moment... Sorry, I fucking tapped on my mic there. Whoops. The moment that a fucking white person benefits off of it, he's like, oh, that's not a bad thing at all. If that is not him going, like, mask off, revealing what he really thinks about it, I don't know what is.
Things that disproportionately benefit black people? That's bad. Things that disproportionately benefit white people?
That doesn't make it bad.
You cannot make this shit up.
This is the thing, like, I just... Oh my god. This is why these people are actually just racist. They're actually just racist. They want to advocate for and say that, oh, well, it's bad because it disadvantages, or it gives advantages to white people. Meanwhile, they want something that's exclusive for...
I'm crying. Everything's too woke, guys. I'm never gonna have to do anything in my life ever again. He's a little baby.
An advantage for themselves.
This is as
What a loser, guys. Point and laugh. Everybody point and laugh at this teeth-rotted loser.
delusional and disingenuous as it gets. First of all, you just called me racist, Asmongold. Is that a claim you're willing to stand behind publicly? Because I'm pretty sure you're currently whining about being called exactly that. Scared that Twitch is going to ban you because of other people's words.
Black people aren't genetically inferior? No, I mean, of course not. But anyway, this is what these people like to do. They like to make up bullshit. And the only reason really that I respond to this kind of stuff is because generally I don't want to get banned on Twitch or something. And so I don't want people to create a narrative that this is what I said and then I get in trouble for it.
Second, this part of my video is me talking about a guy who ignored the structural advantages white students receive at Harvard to focus on black student admissions. You would know that if you hadn't paused to rant during the part of the video there's a red do not pause button on the screen. It's almost like it didn't allow me to complete a thought again. Third, you're literally doing the meme. When you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. Look at the chart you pulled up earlier. Black people are at the very bottom. If there were a government program that specifically helped black and Hispanic people earn enough money to simply match and only match the white median household income, you would call that a racist policy. And of course, upon hearing me say this right now, you would cope and lie and say that you wouldn't. But the truth is that this is exactly what you're doing with affirmative action, because all these programs are seeking to do is exactly that. Help historically marginalized groups get on an equal playing field.
Wow.
The Asian cohort went from 37% to 37%. Literally zero change to them, but a 4% drop in black student admission, which, if you haven't been paying attention, is the fucking goal. The group that's...
Isn't the goal supposed to be having a fair admission process where you're able to apply and then be judged based off of your ability to, perform well in a college? I thought...
Thank you for addressing a point that literally doesn't address what Birdman is trying to fucking say. Jesus Christ, dude. It's insane. He wasn't listening. You just didn't listen to a word Birdman was saying.
The goal isn't to get black people into college. The goal isn't to get white people into college. The goal is to get smart people into college.
This guy routinely says the stupidest shit imaginable. The goal is to get all people into college, Zach, because that's how they become smart people. The evidence shows that college-educated people are beneficial to society and commit significantly less crime. You know, that thing you're pretending to care about? The more educated a society is, the fewer Asmongolds we have. As for students performing well, you don't even care about that. You put a graph on the screen showing black medical students with a 30 on their MCAT and high GPAs and got mad about it while misunderstanding the fucking graph. So miss me with your bullshit copathon ass on breath, because the reality is that even when black students perform well academically, you people will come up with another ridiculous reason they don't belong. Edward Blum, who has dedicated his entire career to dismantling progress and racial equality. And
based patriot, champion.
Specifically, black representation.
Black representation, see, this is the verbal sleight of hand that these people try to use, is they try to use terms like representation and equality, when what they're really saying is institutional preferential treatment that is now being rescinded because the institutional preferential treatment is no longer justified because the counterbalance doesn't exist anymore.
This is refuted with a simple question. Why are black people the lowest on the socioeconomic ladder? If these things don't exist and we no longer need to correct for disparity, why are there still disparities? You said it yourself earlier that we should help those without the means. Which group is that, Zach? Go on, you can do it.
Crying about a DEI district. Yeah, those are getting deleted now, aren't they? It's time to vote like an American. I know, it must be horrible. You can't be basing decisions off of racial bias.
Oh, really? I think you should be telling that to white people in your state of Texas, Zach, because that's exactly what they're doing.
Disproportionately benefiting whites doesn't make it bad. Me, I don't know. I was hoping people would vote as Americans, not as an ethnicity. I don't want to have ethnic tribal voting in America. Nobody wants this. You
can't say this and then support a white supremacist Nick Fuentes and then want to collab with him saying it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Nick Fuentes is almost about being tribal and having levels of tribalism based on race alone. These two things cannot coexist, Asmongold. You realize this, right?
You do, but you don't. It will create chaos.
This moron is completely off topic. What we are talking about is gerrymandering in Texas, which reduces the voice of black Texans who historically vote Democrat. Everyone with a brain knows why Texas gerrymandered their districts to hell, and it has nothing to do with what this used petri dish is rambling about. This one was important because it resulted in a landmark decision that allowed historically racially discriminant states in the South to fuck with voter ID laws, removing...
Don't tell me this is somebody that thinks voter ID laws are racist, right?
They are almost always exclusively racist.
If voter ID...
They've been used to make it so black people can't vote. Like, they've done... This has been done historically.
Laws are racist. Is it racist to buy alcohol?
You know, I considered turning this video off at this moment. I know I'm dealing with a person that has a 4th grade education, but it gets to a point where listening to this shit brings down one's intelligence level. I physically felt one of the wrinkles in my brain smooth out after hearing that, and now it totally makes sense why Asmongold's audience behaves the way they do. Listening to this man speak actually makes you dumber.
I'm sorry, but if you're too stupid to get an ID, I don't care what skin color you are, I don't want you to vote.
Then I am grateful that it is not up to you.
The reason voter ID laws result in voter suppression is because the types of IDs advocates of these laws want specifically target lower income people. And as we all learned earlier, class, there is a very specific type of person that is lower income.
The niggas.
We know that
Okay, the fucking clip.
voter ID laws don't protect against voter fraud because voter fraud is not an actual problem in the United States. According to the Heritage Foundation, you know, the right-wing think tank that led Project 2025, voter fraud is minuscule, accounting for tens of votes over the past 38 years.
Yeah, which is interesting. Like, conservatives constantly cry about Minnesota fraud and, like, the Minnesota fraud that's been happening, but they don't give a fuck about Donald Trump constantly frauding smaller businesses with his fucking meme coin, promising a personal meeting with the president, and also the fact that Trump also pardons fraudsters. So, like, they don't really care about that. They only care when a black person is committing the fraud.
So, if right-wingers know that voter fraud isn't a thing that's happening, why do they push voter ID laws so hard?
The niggas.
Those that
Got that clip.
affect or benefit black people. Just like I pointed out in my last video,
man.
It's a strange coincidence. Everything Zach promotes is backed by some white guy whose life goal is to shit on black people.
That's funny to him, apparently.
Ew. We didn't need to see those Cinnamon Toast Crunch you call teeth.
The Cinnamon Toast Crunch that you call teeth is insane.
Are they right or not?
No, Gingivitis man. They are not. That's why we are
Gingivitis man. Dude, oh my god. Birdman, stop. He's already dead. Oh my god.
here to dispel bullshit from bullshit artists. That's why you're in this series. If you made it to a Birdman video, you done fucked up. I have an entire video showing why Lynn was wrong. You know, the one where you lied and said I called you a racist? So the rest of this video is him watching another video and rambling incoherencies for another couple of minutes, the most interesting of which is where he directly called Asians a model minority.
Yeah, they are a model minority. It's a fact. It's not a myth, it's a fact.
Everybody knows this, right?
Look at crime rates, look at success rates, look at
Everybody knows this?
income and everything, yeah. Yeah, I wish everybody that came here acted like that. It's not a myth, it's a fact.
That's a racial stereotype, by the way, and I'm sure all Asian people watching this would be interested to hear that. He thinks you're a good little dog, doing what you're told and not stepping out of line. This is a form of racial essentialism, which itself is a form of racism. Because Asmongold is a racist.
Yeah, that is true.
Said it
Birdman fucking Moggin last time.
at that time.
Alright, I think that's copyrighted music, so I don't know if I'm gonna play that. But yeah, that's where the video ends. I mean, ultimately, like, yeah, I mean, what can I say? Birdman fucking annihilates Asmongold. It's kind of just the same old, same old. I didn't really have too much commentary to give over this one, to be honest. I've already addressed a lot of Asmongold's dumb bullshit that he says in a previous video. But yeah, I mean, like I said, yeah, Birdman just every single time without fail fucking just systematically twists Asmongold's nipples very painfully. So it's like that kill scene in Final Destination with the MRI scene. That's what happens to Asmongold every time he's subjected to Birdman.